Hey, comrades, what's up? We're here to finish up this whole like shebang with the Call of Duty Black Ops timeline games, with the one that takes us all the way into the far-flung future of 2070 and the 2060s and as well. This is a return to form. This game came out a lot before. Came out before all the Modern Warfare games, like the current ones. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, this is an older game with older technology and yada yada, and it's like, why do I enjoy playing this so much more? Because it's well made, and it's still got a bit of that kind of like post 2016 bullshit with the woman. There's like one woman character, something Kane, and she is like, ugh, gross, absolutely horrible. But you know, whatever. It's just one of those things where, like, I see her and I'm like, oh, please don't ever come back on screen again. You're hideous. Like, what is wrong with the people who make this game? Just make her hot. Like, it's really not that hard. Like, all you're doing is increasing, like, the value of this game by making, like, good-looking characters. Period. Now, she doesn't have to be a fucking supermodel, but, like, Park, she can just be, like, a pretty woman. Like, Park's pretty hot. But... but I feel like they've course-corrected. Kane is the worst Treyarch female, hands down. She looks like a dude, like easily terrible, much like the Modern Warfare games. And then it seems like, okay, then after this you had Park, and she was great. Oh, she's so fucking good. She's the best, hands down. And then you had Sev, who's like a little, again, it's one of those things where it's like, she definitely had a bit of like Sweet Baby Consulting involved with this. Now, I'm not saying them directly, but you like look at her and then you compare her face to like other like shitty woke characters that consultants like advised on, and you're like, she's got a lot of that like weird like old woman stuff going on in her face, and I think she's supposed to be in her 20s. There's no way. Like, she does not look like a 20-year-old unless a 20-year-old has had like reconstructive surgery to make her look like an old woman, kind of. That's the crazy thing about the whole thing. Anyway. All right, where were we? Oh yeah, and then there's obviously going to be another Call of Duty that releases this November, so I'll slap that in here somewhere. We're gonna probably end up getting into like this is like video number 10 or something, or 11, 12, something like that. Anyway, so we're gonna be getting into like 8.2, 8.1 territory with this, so we can slot them in chronologically. All right. But yeah, so this game has a very loose tie to the other Black Ops games. Now, it's actually a stronger tie, despite being like 50 years in the future from when Black Ops 2, the future part, takes place. It still has more of a connection than like the Modern Warfare games, which take place sort of directly between the Black Ops 6 and 2 future stuff. Because you hear about like Zakharov, and that was a character in Cold War. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's referenced, really. That's pretty much it. And then I'm sure there's other things that like the Autistic Nerds Online can have already figured out. But with Black Ops 3, there is like a couple of direct references to Nova. Like, they literally like, oh, this is Nova 6 thing. And then, oh, Menendez. So it's like, okay, we said those words. Now we can move on and not talk about this. Because like, honestly, like it's so far in the future that it's like, why would we still be talking about these things, right? Like, the Menendez thing seems like kind of relevant. Like, it doesn't, I don't remember ever saying in the game, but at some point I was reading somewhere where someone's like, oh, the canonical ending is the one where Menendez wins and everyone like riots, and because that causes like problems, like that's like connected to like the riots and stuff in Black Ops 3. But then like when I'm playing Black Ops 3, I'm like, I don't know, man. It just seems like people are just like rioting for rioting's sake. Like, there's tons of drones, there's tons of like cybernetics and robots and shit. Like, none of that stuff stopped. Like, the drones all still exist and whatnot. So it's like he did nothing, which is, in the grand scheme of things, usually how that shit works out. Like, you know, you can make it like all about the end of the world and doomsday and like drastic changes in society, all that stuff. But enough time goes by and it's no longer the Bronze Age, and people don't remember the Bronze Age collapse, except as like a historical side note. Unless it's like your dissertation or whatever. And then it's just like, oh, society just kept going, and then we just kept progressing as time went on. Or like the fall of Rome and stuff, where it's like, oh yeah, the fall of Rome. That seems like a pretty big deal. And it's like, that was earth shattering. That was like the end of the empire, the empire, or the breakup of the Khanate and stuff like that. But to us, it's like, oh, I just read about this thing. But, you know, people are so caught up in themselves in the present as, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be, because like I don't live for hundreds of years, like I live for now. So I really like right now to be nice, and for there just to be like people getting along and no war and people just getting left the fuck alone to do whatever they want. It's not interfering with other people's lives. You know, some basic fucking communistic stuff. Just like leave us alone and let us like do our thing. Government, fuck you. Anyway, but that being said, this game plays, even though it's like in the far-flung future, and this is like around the time when they did like Advanced War and Future War or whatever the other one's called. And so there was like, they were all about this like high technology. This was like the trend of the time. And so it fits right in there because it's like the future. We don't go to space or any bullshit like that, but there is a lot of like bullshit technology. That's what I like to call it. It's just like space magic. It's like future magic, cybernetic magic or whatever. It's like, oh, we can just do these things because reasons. Like, okay. Anyway, but aside from all that, it is definitely a Black Ops game. And the more you play it and the more you get through, and once you get to the end, you're like, holy shit. That blew my mind. So the writing's on point. Okay. So the game opens up in 2065. We work as a Black Ops force for this organization known as the Winslow Accord Alliance or something. And it's like this multifaceted, it's like NATO. It's just fucking NATO. Because there's the CPD, which is just like CDI. It's some Chinese one. So there's like China and America, like nothing changes, right? And so you have the East versus the West, and there's like two giant treaties that kind of like are in opposition, but they're not fighting, but we're like in a new Cold War. And they even like, they're very on the nose about it. There's like at some point in the beginning, like scrawl before the game like loads up completely. You get like right when you start the single player, you just kind of get some like history about like what's been going on in the last 45 years or 40 years or whatever. And then you get like the president being like, we're in a new Cold War. And then it's like, da, 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 Black Ops 3. Oh my goodness. All right. So, so Menendez, I guess one canonically, as far as I can tell, people tried to rise up against their governments. Didn't really work out. So decades upon decades later, bioaugmentation has started to become more mainstream. It's kind of like revolutionized the way we do war and just civilization and whatnot. But there's also a lot of turmoil because, you know, as like time goes on, the game never really gets into this, but in my head, it's like, well, yeah, as you construct these like mega cities and as people become more and more reliant upon like a central force, and then corporations have like more power because people are all sheltered together, and it's you have like a greater play between like the haves and the have-nots in society, and like no way for people to really take care of themselves. So you can compare this to like the fall of Rus or the Russian the Russian Empire to the communists, is that you had serfs, right? So you have these people who are completely impoverished and like barely getting through the day, and then you have these like kings, right? Now you can take that, and if you look at like the Slavic people or the serfs in like 1900s Russia before like World War One, and compare them to like the Tsar, and then you compare like me or you, whoever's listening to this, on your like fucking pocket computer where we can like fly into the space. like the difference between like a wealthy person and like a serf would be like speaking to like a god on the earth, right? The level of like technological advancement and just like ease of living that we have is like so beyond the measure of what someone in like 1920 would be able to like completely fathom. It's that crazy. And then and you know, but even like the people live in our day who are like poor, who are like barely getting by, living on like food stamps and stuff. And then you have like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or Bill Gates or any of these assholes. And it's like, yeah, I mean, the disparity there is like, it's worse than, because you know, at the end of the day, it's like these serfs and these like peasant folk and like, you know, the dark ages of like Europe, they could like, they had agriculture. They could at least like grow their own fucking food for the most part and be okay. And then granted, you had people in cities, but these cities weren't like these like mega cities that we have now. Like, and then you have like the far, far future, which is like where you get like like Warhammer, like the Necromundas or the Hive cities, or then you have like what's it called from fucking Judge Dredd, right? And it's like these people cannot sustain on. They either have to be criminals or be caught up in like the corporate machines, like in a cyberpunk future, right? And this is almost like a cyberpunk future, it seems. So of course there's going to be turmoil and shit. There's like increase in like terrorist attacks because again it's like people want things that they don't know how else to get them because they're being so repressed by like the ultra rich. Again, this game doesn't talk about it. It's just like it's a natural byproduct. And I mentioned superstorms, and I almost respect this. Sorry, Superstorms reminded me of this. I almost respect that it doesn't like explain why all this stuff's coming. It just assumes like you can like use your brain and like figure out like, okay, why are there terrorist attack? Why is there like upheaval, sort of? Why and then why is there superstorms? And it's like, oh, okay, because like, and I don't agree with this in reality, but like, because of climate change, because you know the haves and the have-nots and all this other bullshit, right? And I don't really believe in the haves and have-nots thing, and like it's getting worse in the future. I feel like it's always been the way it is right now. But like in a hypothetical sci-fi future, sure, there's climate change, and sure, there's whatever else the game really wants to imply because it's not real. Anyway. Yeah, there's an expansion of super cities, and then they make a comment about populations exploding, and I'm like, in what circumstance? Like, with the advent of like super cities, like the more we move to cities, the smaller the family is because it becomes uneconomical. And if it's uneconomical, like what would drive people to be having all these kids, right? Because it's like making them poor and people are selfish by nature. So that part is the only part where I'm like, that's I call bullshit on that. Like, yeah, if, like, hypothetically speaking, if there's like some crazy climate change and it's just getting worse and we're just like producing more bullshit and putting more shit in the air and whatever, then yeah, superstorms make sense. That could happen. But like overpopulation, what? Overpopulation doesn't make any fucking sense. Like we're not rabbits. Like people are extremely intelligent and selfish. Even like dummies are intelligent enough to be like, if I have more kids, this is going to be worse off for me, right? And so they do everything they can, even if they're like banging all these chicks unprotected, to like get the fuck out of Dodge and not have to pay for those kids, right? Anyway, and it's like what happened? Did abortions just stop worldwide? I doubt it. Highly doubt. Okay. And yeah, the overpopulation thing, I remember hearing about it when I was growing up in like the 80s, but like I haven't heard anything about it since then because it's kind of bullshit. And like, yeah, the population's increased by like billions in the last by like at least 1 billion from when I was like a kid, if not more. And it's like everything's still fine. All right. So then now the police and the military and stuff, they're using like autonomous robots and whatnot. They're putting out riots to like do whatever bullshit they got to do. Yep, and then we're into Cold War. Okay, got it. All right, so the game opens up, and we are ourselves, right? We literally get to name our character, and we can choose male or female. And the story with the male and female is slightly different, but I don't give a fuck because I'm not a female, and most people in the world, probably like 99.95%, did not choose a female because, again, she's ugly. So why would I play this woman? Like, men love playing beautiful, sexy women characters in video games. They love it. But when you have, like, a man jaw, and, like, when you look at that woman and you're like, ugh, because even the male character is like, ugh. Like, he's not, like, rugged in, like, a Marcus Phoenix kind of way, right? He's just kind of like, ugh. Like, my guy was just, like, dopey and bald, and I was like, all right, well, whatever. I don't have to look at him too much. And unfortunately, you have to look at them a lot. So I guarantee you didn't have, like, people playing woman characters in this game. There's no fucking way. So we're going to go ahead and play as a Comrade. That's her name, because that's my name. Awesome. And then we spend the whole game with Hendrix, who's, like, our super homie. And at some point, someone mentioned that he's, like, the commanding officer, and I was like, cool. I mean, we make all the decisions and stuff, but Hendrix does pout a lot. So I guess if we're playing the female version, it's like, I told you, white man. When did this game come out? I don't remember. It had to have been like after 2016 for all this. The way this game kind of handles a lot of shit, I'm just like, eh. Anyway, so our job is to head into Egypt. Oh, no, sorry. We're headed to Ethiopia because this group's kidnapped the prime minister of Egypt for like reasons. I think the prime minister, he was the head of like some coup government in Egypt, and now like the government that fled to Ethiopia, I guess, was friendly with them or something. I don't know. The game like tells you, but it's like a lot of reading, and I was kind of like, not really that. It's not really that important. So how do we sneak into Ethiopia and rescue the prime minister? So first thing we do is we break into like this airport, like right at the start. We redirect a flight, and then we use like a Patriot missile system. I'm trying to remember if they call them in this. They did I write it down? I don't think I did. Just some anti-air missiles and blow the shit out of that plane, and that draws out the military. So then we can be all like sneaky-potamus with Hendrix and like go find the prime minister. So we go around and we kill a bunch of dudes and sneak around and kill some more dudes, and then we find like a computer system and we find out where the interrogation center is, where think his name's Salim or Sahid. Anyway, I'll just call him the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is being held. So then we kill our way over there, and then we rescue him. He's like, oh, awesome, but you have to rescue this other guy too. And we're like, and Hendrix is like, well, that's not our job, so we're not going to do it. And then I'm like, come on, man, let's just do what this guy asked for. But it's Khalil. We love Khalil. And I'm like, who the fuck's Khalil? Right? Mysteries. These fucking games love mysteries. But he's the hero. We find out because the Prime Minister tells us. He's like, oh, he's the hero of the Cairo Uprising. And I'm like, that sounds familiar. Anyway. So whatever, we do it anyway. So we kill some more. Khalil and the Prime Minister help us out. We just kill. Eventually we get surrounded by a bunch of robots. And we're like, we're fucked. And then Taylor shows up. Who's Taylor? Taylor is essentially the main character of this game. Or the main antagonist, however you want to look at it. So... he's got a squad of like 4 guys because this game knows how to write special operation units correctly. So these, and well, 1 gal, so 3 dudes and a gal. But don't worry, it's fine. She's a cybernetic. They're all cyborgs, in fact, because it's, remember, bioaugmentation, and then they have this thing called DNI, which we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, so they rescue us, and we're super excited. And Hendrix is like, "Oh, fucking Taylor, I haven't seen you in a while, man. How's that chick you were banging?" And Taylor's like, "Oh man, it didn't really work out that well." Or something. It's like, all right, cool, brother. So then we kill our way to the extraction site, but then we get to this bridge, and it's like overwhelmed with like robots and shit. So we're like, fuck it, blow this bridge. We'll go to plan B. So we blow the bridge, and then we move to plan B. So we go kill some more, and then at some point we're trapped by a VTOL. VTOL's like a kind of helicopter drone fucking thing, and then Taylor like pops up and he goes boom, it blows the shit out of that, and we're like awesome. So we kill some more, and there's a whole bunch of robots like popping up again. And we're like, oh fuck, let's hide in this garage. So we go hide in this garage, and then Hendrix and Taylor discuss the situation about getting the Prime Minister out, and the Prime Minister's like, oh, there's all these other hostages. Could you please? And like, bro, we already saved Khalil. What the fuck you want with all these other hostages? No, please, for the Egyptian people. Blah 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 blah. We're like, fuck. And Taylor's like, I got it, bro. I'll take care of this. So then Taylor and his crew, they're gonna go rescue the hostages, while the rest of us get the Prime Minister and clear the fuck out of Dodge. Okay, so then we hop in an APC. We got this like bang, 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 shoot a bunch of shit, blow a bunch of shit up. We blow a bunch of vehicles up, blow some VTOLs up, kill a whole bunch of guys. It's fucking wild, y'all. It's pretty good. Like, let's play this. I literally played this game after fucking Modern Warfare 3, and I was like, God damn, this is a breath of fresh air. This game is fucking awesome. Like, it starts so hard. I was like, God damn, dude, I miss this. I had like given up hope. I was like in a dire straits when it came to playing fucking Call of Duty games. Like, God damn, these are so awful. And then I played this one, and I was like, oh fuck, yeah, this is why I like this franchise, because it's actually fucking rad. It's like such good times. Kill a whole lot of helicopters. And then at some point, the vehicle spins out of control and crashes. And we're like, fuck. Anyway, so we keep killing and push into the extraction site, kill some more robots, kill some more dudes. At some point, the drone that's gonna like back us like rolls out and drops like a pod down, and it's like, I'll be back to pick it up, and then it like circles back, and then everyone gets on board. Beretta's like, we are about to get on board with like Hendrix and the Prime Minister and Khalil. There's like a rocket explosion right in our fucking faces, and we're like, oh fuck. And then the drone at that exact moment, the drone pilot is like, we gotta go right now, something air conditions or some bullshit, and he grabs it, and we reach out for Hendrix, and Hendrix is like, no. And then he's like, Taylor, one of my guys got stuffed at the extraction point, you gotta help him, please. And then it's like, oh man, we're getting overwhelmed, and we get the shit kicked out of us by these robots. They climb on up, they like break our arm, break our hand, break a leg, I think they break both arms. They're just like fucking us up. They're just like bam, 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 bam. And we kind of black out, and then we come to, and we're fading in out of consciousness, and then Taylor shows up, kills the shit out of the robots with his team, and he's like, okay brother, I got you, you're gonna be all right. And then we like black out for real this time. And we wake up, and there's like a bright white light, and we're in a surgery room, and we see Taylor talking to some fucking dude in like a gray coat and some other crazy stuff. We're like, oh, what's going on? And then it's okay. And then we get like a flashback of like the level we just beat. Like, oh yeah, that's right, we were kicked the shit out by robots and stuff, and then Taylor saved us. I'm like, bro, I just fucking watched this. Why are we seeing this again? Whatever. And then we find out that they're going to replace all our broken parts with robot parts, so we could be a cyborg now, which is fucking sweet. And then also we're going to get the DNI. So let me ask what the DNI is. And DNI is one of the most important things to know about in this game, because it like hinges, a lot of the game story like hinges around this fucking thing. So whenever I talk about the DNI, you best be fucking paying attention if you want to keep up and know what's going on. So what is a DNI? It's a direct neural interface. It's very simple. It's this thing that goes in your brain so you can directly connect with everyone else at DNI, and it can create like mini networks, and it can like help, like you can turn on this thing where you see colors instead of like the black gray of like the world, so that you can more easily spot guys, and it'll help you like interface with like cybernetics and like, or not cybernetics, with like IT stuff, like computers, and hack into systems and all this stuff, and take over like drones and stuff. It's fucking awesome. Anyway, and then we're like, what the fuck's going on? And then it's like, we are Taylor. And it's like, who the fuck are you? And then, this is all this stuff like panning through our mind where we're having this thing. And then it's like, who are you? And we see the whole team. And then he replies, it's me, Taylor, motherfucker. And then it's like, he's like, it's time you woke up. Fuck you, Black Ops. I read this up very specifically, so pay attention. Taylor asked us to wake the fuck up. And we're like, what? What do you mean? You're Taylor? We're Taylor? What does any of this shit mean? And it's like, fucking Black Ops. So good. This game is so good. And then we awake, and we're on this fucking train heading into downtown Zurich. And we're like, the fuck's going on? And we're like, oh shit, I'm a cyborg. We freak out a little bit, and then Taylor's sitting there too, and he's like, hey homie, what's up? And we're like, is this a dream? And he's like, yeah, sorta. That's important. So anyway, back in 2054, a new form of neural AI technology was being delivered to somewhere in Zurich, downtown or whatever. It was going to revolutionize the way governments are run, the way combats, the militaries ran, and just like change civilian life. And then but except it never made it. And then boom, the train explodes, and the whole thing like freezes. And it's fucking so good. The storytelling is so good. Goddamn, Treyarch, crush! You're cooking so hard to start this game. Anyway, so terrorists blew up the train, and this set robotics technology and everything back like years, and that we're here to stop it because we need a train. We need to figure out how to use this DNI and everything like that. And then we're like, well, wait, hold on, this didn't happen? And Taylor's like, nope, this didn't happen. You're right now in a medically induced coma. They got that DNI installed so that we can all hang out together, and we can, the reason I can talk to you is because I got DNI, and you can talk to me is because we got DNI, and we can create this, like, training center in our brains, almost like The Matrix, right? You remember The Matrix? That movie came out recently. It's gonna learn some fucking kung fu. Literally, we're gonna use this like mind time to like hang out with Taylor's crew because they all got DNI and they're all cyborgs, and then we're gonna like connect and while we're getting prepped for surgery so they can replace all our body parts, we're gonna like learn how to use all our new shit, and it's like cool. And then of course, I'm thinking to myself as I'm playing this game. Not me in the game, but me in the real world is like, man, all this connection and brain stuff, absolutely nothing bad could happen with all this. It's like this is a fucking Black Ops game, Lord Chris. Anyway, at that point, we get teleported to a new location. Taylor continues to chat with us. He says earlier in the day, the security force, the Zurich security force actually went to go stop these terrorists before like this whole thing even happened. They went to go break into their stuff. Obviously, they failed. And then it's like, all right, cool, time to really open up this tutorial. So we meet Diaz. Diaz is one of Taylor's crew. He teaches us how to do all this like fun, like we're running on walls and shit like Titanfall. And you know what? I'm here for it. It's fucking awesome. I love Titanfall 2. That's one of the greatest. That might be the greatest storyline for a first-person shooter ever. So fucking good. Anyway, so we're gonna get instructed through this whole. This tutorial is fucking fantastic because we just like play through this like fun little story that you're like, oh, this is cute, and you're like, it's also super important, so don't forget this happened. Because fucking Treyarch's cooking. I love it. So anyway, so Taylor's team. Oh, I know where he's like teaching us how to run on walls and hack shit and do some or like super moves. Because they got super moves in this fucking game. Shooter Cyborg. We start having like visual glitches about something. Like we're like, oh, what? Fuck, something's going on. And then Diaz is like, oh yeah, don't worry, that happens. And I'm like, I'm a little worried about that happening. And he's like, nah, bud. Nah, brother. It's just like little glitches. Sometimes you get auditory or visual like hallucinations. It's like the DNI can, because it implants memories. It's like this whole thing we're doing. And I'm like, the DNI implants memories. All right, remember everybody, when I talk about the DNI, it's important to remember this. It's important to pay attention. Eventually, we crush our way through, kill our way through, and we find a console. Hack into it, we find out who's responsible. It's just some old asshole. I can't remember his name. It's like something, not important. And meanwhile, Taylor, during this whole like tutorial, Taylor keeps popping in and be like, like for example, he says like it took the Zurich security forces 6 hours to figure out this information. It took you 6 minutes. It says it took you 6 minutes to get that information. It took the Zurich security forces 6 hours. In 6 hours, train go boom. And like something else happens. He's like, yep, train go boom. It's so fucking good. Taylor's great at this. Oh man! And besides being a little bitch, Hendrix is pretty good too. Not gonna lie, most of the characters are pretty good, except Kane. She's all right. It's not just because she's hideous to look at. She's just this kind of like, she kind of has the Laswell thing where it's just kind of like, okay, mom, thanks. Anyway, he's really trying to sell Taylor. Going back to Taylor, he's really trying to sell me on this tech and how awesome it is and how it could have changed everything. This leads us to another simulation. This time we're chasing the guy we just found out about. We meet Hall. Hall is the woman. She instructs us on how to like run more fast and do some other shit here. At some point, we chase the guy, like falls out of a building and lands on the ground, smashes his brain up real good. And we're like, oh fuck! Now we can't get the information about the train or anything like that. And like, oh, au contraire, mon ami. So that DNI, you can shove that in people's brains, and then when you do that, you can extract whatever information you want from them, as long as they just like are recently dead or still alive. And it's like, huh, that's interesting. Let us not forget. The DNI can not only create memories in your head, give you auditory visual hallucinations, but it can steal memories from people who are almost dead. And that can cause problems too. Let's not forget that. All right, so we find out from doing that the bomb people were like in the tunnels. And so it's like, oh cool, let's go to the tunnels. And here in the tunnels we meet the final and greatest member of the team, Taylor's team. It's Marietti! Paisano! Oh, heck yeah. Hell yeah. Representation. Anyway, he teaches us how to just keep killing. There's like more abilities. There's a whole bunch of abilities you can equip and stuff. So while you're playing through this game, this is a side note. While you're playing through this game, you can like level up, build more skills, buy equipment that you can equip in different levels and whatnot. And unfortunately, because I'm playing some hacked version that's not connected to a network, or not hacked. Yeah, it was hacked. Pirated. That's what I'm looking for. Playing some pirated version that was not connected to the network. I could never level up, so I pretty much just had to keep using like whatever the base equipment guide is that each level has, and like base level equipment, which made this game a little bit harder than it was probably supposed to be. Because I had to really utilize my like fucking skills that I developed when the only game I owned was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 back in the day to like get through some of these levels when I'm playing on fucking Recruit, because I would just like oh shit man, like this. I am definitely supposed to be having more powerful weaponry at this point in the game, but we'll figure it out. Oh, goodness. Okay, so I'm with my Paisano homie. Oh, yeah, so then we kill. We find out from, like, another terminal that they hacked into these robots, the security robots on the train, and they use that to, like, plant the bomb inside the train to, like, do the whole thing. It's like, all right, so now we're flipping over to the train. Now we're with Taylor again. I think we're just by ourselves, to be completely honest. But it's like, all right, cool. He tells us that, and then he gives us like a little more history lesson. He says that the explosion accelerated the Winslow Cord Neural Network Initiative, which is how we have what we have now. So it's like, yeah, this caused like a problem with like advancing cybernetics like generally in the public, it seems, but for like NATO or the Winslow Accord, it made it like they pushed like a lot of money into this, so this shit wouldn't happen again, and so they wouldn't have to just rely on robots as security forces. They'd be relying on like these cyborgs essentially with like human brains, so they wouldn't be hacked, and they'd be able to like take care of all this other stuff. Anyway, so this final part of the tutorial, we have a time limit to go get this bomb, so it's super fun because we just like killed through this train and jumping over stuff and going in and out of the train. And by the time we finally kill our way all the way over to the bomb, we find out that it's booby trapped. Ruh-roh! And there's not enough time to like undo the booby trap or to figure something else out. And then Taylor's like, are you sure there's no other way? And then we're like, oh, wait a second, this is a mag rail. Mag rail is like magnetic, right? So it uses magnets. And so we're like, oh, we just got to like reverse the polarity on this one car, and then the bomb won't go to the place and blow up the stuff, and then everything should be good. Except we're going to die. Well, that's our job. Oh, well. Wah, wah, wah. And at some point, Tyler's like, what are you willing to lose? And then we waken back up in the hospital room, and I was like, God damn, that level was fucking sweet. For a fucking tutorial. So good. Anyway, and then we find out, we wake up, Taylor's there, and he's like, hey, just so you know, your homie Hendrix decided he's going to do this with you, man. He's totally uninjured, but, your guys are brothers from different mothers, so let's do this. And so, Hendrix comes with us, and we become cyborgs, and it's like, fuck yeah, brother, let's do this. And then we get this, like, epic fucking collage of, like, not even a collage, like a cutscene collage. What do you call those things? They're called montage. We get a fucking crazy montage of Hendrix and us and Hendrix, just killing the shit out of people, doing all sorts of Black Ops stuff, and we're just like being total fucking badass bros. We go to like Uzbekistan, Thailand, Kenya, Beirut, a whole bunch of fucking places, like all over the fucking world, just like driving it in, doing cool fucking shit. And it's like, God damn, man, this game. Don't worry, the game we actually get to play is even more badass. Like from the get-go, it's this game, man. It's so good. And as we're seeing all this stuff, we hear reports about like, the same reports, like bullshit, like terrorists rising up or this happening or that happening. And the whole time we're like doing cool shit. And then at some point we're like, Hendrix, how long has it been since we started being cyborgs and doing all this cool shit? And he's like, 5 years, like 5 fucking years. Wow, we're the best. And it's like, cool, where are we going next? And Hendrix is like, he says one of the most epic things. It's one of the most. He says an epic thing. He's like, I have no idea, brother. We're just going to go with the fucking flow. Yeah, boy. Love it. So after all that bullshit, we get to actually play a mission. Our mission is that we get to head to Singapore because there's some CIA black site that's gone dark. And it's up to us to go figure out what's going on there. So we learned that Singapore is a hot fucking mess. Apparently there was this company, this corporation called Coalescence, and they had a facility there, and the facility like blew up at some point, like it seems like a year or more ago. And it turned the whole thing into like this disaster zone essentially. And then because there was like no government interference, or like the Winslow Accords could not be bothered with like helping them out or whatever, this gang called the 54 Immortals decided they were going to take up residence here in Singapore and like run the joint. So they did. Back to the explosion. Let's see. It killed like 300,000 people. It's like the first time I ever heard this fucking thing. I just forgot. I thought it was like 30,000. No, it's 300,000 people were killed. Wow. That's a lot. And then it, created the Winslow Accords like excuse is that there was superstorms and they were hitting all the time and just destroying the recovery effort or whatever. And so, everyone was just like, nope, we're done. Let's see. And the black site was there it was set up to monitor the 54 Immortals because they're like a Chinese gang and they work for like, they call it the CDP. I don't remember, and I didn't write down what that stood for because it's not really important. It's just the Chinese. So you got NATO versus China. That's what the story is. So they call them the Winslow Accord, but it's like the West. And then you have CDP, which is like the Eastern Bloc, which may include Russia, but mostly we just fight the Chineses. Anyway, at this point, we're going to meet up with Rachel Kane. And then when the level starts, we get this anchor, which is pretty cool because there's points where like the superstorm's hitting or whatever, like hurricane force winds, and we have to like shove this anchor into the ground so that we don't get like blown away or whatever, which makes the level pretty fun. This whole level is pretty good. Like the game really opens up like tight. Like that first level was baller, and then this like first actual level of the actual story game or whatever. Or the tutorial was baller. And then this level's pretty baller too. It's like the first 3 levels. Hitting hard. They're not all of this fucking rad. But the game like starts off like real strong. Alright. So as we're heading in there and we're going to go track down this black site, at some point Kane's like, hey, there's this ship over there. It looks like the 54 Immortals might have some information they might have gotten from the black site. They're trying to like send it out from there or from the ship or whatever. Can you go get that ship taken care of first? And then Hendrix is like, I don't want to. Because he's a little bitch. But we're like, yeah, for sure. We'll go take care of it. And so on our way, we're like sneaking through Singapore, trying to be real Black Opsy. And then Hendrix decides he's gonna lose his mind because he sees some people getting killed. And I'm like, bro, we've been doing Black Ops stuff for like over 5 years. Like, are you really gonna like lose it over a couple of like randos getting killed by gang members in this place that there's like bigger things at play here, bro. And it sets the precedence pretty early on. The Hendrix is like kind of bad at his job, in my opinion. Now, I don't think he's written in poorly because he continuously acts like kind of like with a little bit of a screw loose. But yeah, literally. So we're like heading there. We find out the 54 Immortals, they kind of like have slavery sort of, and that people, if they step in a lie, they're like real tight about being like, fuck you, which is honestly no worse than like the Mongolians did or like any other like force in the world or even like America to some extent. But yeah, so anyway, this lady and this guy try to like sneak out of there, and then they get caught, and so then they get their heads blown off, and then Hendrix is like, that's it, I can't take any more of this bullshit. And I'm like, what? Like, as someone who knows a lot of stuff about the special operations community in America in like our current year, and even like for decades now. It's like some of the shit you gotta like just kind of like grit your teeth through is a lot. And the stories I've heard, and even some of the shit I've seen, it's like, hey man, these people getting killed, like that's probably the least bad thing that could have happened to them. I mean, there was no rape on this woman that we saw. Like there was no like pulling body parts off or like child slavery or any of that shit. Like this is what you're gonna lose your mind about. Like the world of 2070. Yeah, I think it's 27 next to 5 years. It's pretty good. If this is all it takes to set you off, and you're like a premier special forces, black ops, like Winslow Accord, master of all something none. I don't know. Anyway, I was just like, okay. Hendrix is a little pampered, it appears. So anyway, so now it's time for us to kill. We kill our way all the way to the shipyard and the ship, and then we use our DNI to delete all the information they're trying to send out that was getting transmitted. And then at that point, it's like the storm's really picking up, and we've had to use the anchor a few different times. And then this giant like old oil rig or some shit gets like thrown into the air at us, and it's like, oh fuck, this whole dock's gonna be destroyed. What should we do? And it's like, let's anchor onto the ship that's flying by us like in the storm. And I was like, this is dope as shit. So we do that. So the ship comes well, first of all, like the roof of this ship we're on, which is like another tanker or something, gets blown the fuck off. And then this other ship comes out, and we hop up and hop on that thing. We just like plow through like Singapore on this fucking thing. And then at some point we like hop off, and it's like, wow, that was dope. That's fucking good. We then get told by Kane that like, hey, there's some tunnels over here. They'll lead you down to like the black site. So like head through there. So we go and we kill our way through that. And eventually we run into a big boy. I think they call them warlords in this game. They're like the super unit with like the body armor that makes them like, they can take like 1,000 bullets or whatever. And we're like, oh no, we're in fucking trouble now. What are we gonna do? And then we get saved by Kane. And Kane rolls up, and I was like, ooh, yep, that was my reaction. You might see it here in the video. Not me making that reaction, but what she looks like, what quote unquote she looks like. Yup. It's one of those. And she's definitely no Park, like not even fucking close. But whatever, I'll allow it because it's like, I mean, this game's pretty badass and fun. So the fact that Kane looks like someone like took a young boy and like smashed his face in real hard, and then told him to talk like a girl, he's gonna get some more smash facing. Like, okay, sure, because you know what, the rest of the game's fun. So I'll give it a pass. So it's kind of like Black Ops 6, only far worse, because Harlow and Sev are much more attractive than Kate. Like, Kate is like, ugh. And all I'm saying here, maybe if she was like, I don't know, moderately attractive, this game would be better. In fact, I know for a fact it would. So I don't know why. Why is this like this? Anyway, whatever. So we kill our way to the black site, and then we head in there, we kill some more. And then we get into like this big room. We find like this really fun, interesting thing there, and that is a bunch of dudes sitting in a circle, and they got their eyes gouged out and their noses removed and their ears cut off, and they're all dead. And it's like, huh? And then it's like there's someone references like the denial of resurrection, and then this Jay Shung guy, he has like this thing written down about the execution method, and that it was like performed while they were still alive and stuff. And it's like, okay, that was creepy as shit. 54 Immortals are pretty wild. So, but at that point, Kane's like moving around, looking at stuff, and she finds the data drives that they're gone. Oh no! And what the worst part is, it included daily syncs with the global CIA network. And like, why? Why would it? And they gotta look over at it's like 50 years in the future. Like, why are you doing that? We stopped doing that like in the 60s. Like, why would this like remote black site that has like no backup in the middle of like enemy territory, essentially, would you just have like some drives uploading to like global CIA with like no decryption, no encryption or nothing? Just like grab the drives and upload all this shit forever, so they know everything the CIA is doing. Like, why is this a thing? Like, I was like, the fuck? This is some dumb shit. Like, CIA gets what it deserves with its like overconfidence or something. Like, damn. Anyway. This is a super big problem, because then it gives access, whoever gets this information, like the Chineses, they get access to all the safe houses and all the black sites and everything the CIA has been doing, and they can release it to everybody, and then America will be mad, or the Winslow Accord countries or whatever, and then China's going to know what's up, and it's going to be a big rut-row on that. And It's like that knock list from Mission Impossible, right? Only this is like 1,000 times worse because it's not just like agents, it's like everything. But good thing these drives have a tracker on them that wasn't removed, so they were smart enough to have a tracker and not smart enough to not have this thing fucking sync every day with the global CIA. Why is there a global CIA network? What the fuck? Anyway, so the tracker shows that on this one part of Singapore where there's a bunch of biodomes, and it's like the headquarters of the 54 Immortals. That's where it's at. So, all right, cool. That's where we got on next. And then we're going to run into the leaders because there's Go Min and Go Xiu Lan, their brother and sister. And we're kind of chit-chatting about that. And then all of a sudden, Kane speaks up. And she's like, hey, I got an inquiry. And we're like, yes, you hideous monster, what's up? And she's like, did you notice the doors are blasted out, not blasted in? And that the drilling equipment that the 54 Immortals were clearly using to get inside here, it didn't, like the drill marks didn't go inside. So like someone blasted their way out of here and not that they're around, which means dun dun dun, it's an inside job. But who could it be? And then Kane's like, well, it's Taylor's team. And Hendricks is like, fuck you, no it's not. Because she's got some sort of like information from like whatever data. So they don't have like the data drives with the sync, but I guess there's like other data drives here or something. Or she has some other information she's been squirreling away. Later on, and at this point, between all the missions, from here on out, we head out to like the safe house. And the safe house is like an area where we can like build, upgrade, equip new items, and work on our appearance, sort of, and then look at like our achievements and whatnot. But because I'm playing a pirated version of this game, it's no connection. That literally part of the hack is like no connection to any network. I have to, as I mentioned before, just ride and die on like the equipment the game gives me. So this point's pointless, except that there's little bits of stories that take place here. So while we're hanging out in the safe house, Hendricks starts questioning this information that Kane gave us. And he's like, I don't understand why we have to like do whatever bullshit we're doing. Can't she just track the DNI? And then we say, hey, we trust Kane. She's been through some tough stuff. I've read her dossier and stuff. And I was like, yeah. This homely looking asshole that we're playing clearly wants to fuck Kane, which I had to pause for a second to go vomit when I thought about that. Ugh, gross. Anyway, so the next step is that we got to sneak into the 54 Immortals group and find out that data. So we're going to try to be Black Ops-y here and be real sneaky-like. It doesn't work out very much. But Hendricks says he knows a guy, this Daniel Lee guy. So we're going to pretend to be arms dealers or something. And we're going to contact Daniel Lee so we can sell him some like Winslow Accord robots or whatever so that they can use them to fight, I don't know, just keep order or some shit. Anyway, while we're in there, we're like in some restaurant or something talking to Danny Lee. He's treating his like minions like shit because they like spilt some tea or some bullshit. Anyway, and then the Winslow Accord comes up because we're like, oh, these robots are top of the line. They're Winslow Accord. And then Danny Lee's like, fuck the Winslow's Accord. And I was like, yeah, fuck the Winslow Accord. I'm with this guy. They didn't seem to do anything. Like literally the whole time I'm playing this game, and this, I guess spoiler alert, doesn't really come up that much, but the more you like find out that the Winslow Accord is just doing shit all the time except like causing more problems, I'm like, man, Winslow Accord sucks. Anyway, so when this thing blew up, they didn't do shit. Like I said, they had like, oh, superstorm, so nothing we can do. We're just gonna wall off Singapore so that none of the like wretches like find their way out of there. And so then it was like the 54 Immortals like showed up and they're like, hey, we're gonna instill order in this city, and like they plugged in like power and gave everyone like free microwaves or whatever. Some real like communist utopia bullshit kind of stuff. But they fixed things, and the people here who aren't like the assholes, they're like, yeah, you know what, I like them being here because at least we don't live in like complete squalor and just are at the complete mercy of like of nature, right? Anyway, so, and then our character, who's just a real dipshit of a guy, to be completely honest. I hate that it's us, because he's a real dumbass. He gets like real tense defending the Winslow Accords, and then he's like, what the fuck are you defending the Winslow Accords for? And then the brother and sister go? Like Shaolin and Min or whatever. Yep, Min and Xiu Lan. They show up, and they're like, hey, you Winslow Accord scum. And we're like, how'd you know? Oh, goodness. And then Hendricks is like, don't worry, I'll talk us out of this. And by talking out, he means he's going to activate all the Winslow Accord robots who are going to kill everybody in the room except Min, who's going to take off with one of her bodyguards. So her brother's dead. One of the leaders of the Immortals, the 54 Immortals. That was pretty simple. Daniel Lee's dead. And now we got to like fight our fucking way with the robots out of here. And all the way to like the Heavenly Cloud, I think is what it's called. So yeah, we do that. So we kill, we fight. We realize that there's some Chinese forces here helping out. Some ridiculous name like the Longji River Crew or some bullshit. Anyway, we kill some of them. We kill some more immortals. Eventually, we get to their headquarters, the Cloud Mountain. And then at some point, oh no, wait, Xiao Lin was the girl. So Min died. So Min was the boy. Okay. So Xin Luan starts talking. She's like, "Hey, everybody, get your bounty on these heads. Go get them, boys," and all that jazz. And then so we head into Cloud Mountain. We kill our way up. We fight our way. Kane's like, "Hey, there's a server. That's probably where the data's being done, whatever." And so we kill some more. We run into some more of those beefy boys, the warlords or whatever. We kill all them. This whole level's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I make it time done. It's fun. It's just like kill, do some more killing, run here, kill some more guys, use robots to kill, hack into this and kill. Pretty good. And then, we finally get to the server room, but it's all locked down. And inside, Kane's like, "Oh no, Xiao Lan is decrypting and uploading to like a public server, so the Chinese are going to find all about everything that's in these drives." And it's like, "Oh, okay, you guys drives." So then we break into the room, and Hendrix just knocks her the shit out. Fuck. You're like, bam! But the thing's still uploading and decrypting or whatever, because it's like already, it's our computer system, so it's running. And so we try to turn it off, but oh no, we need like bio recognition or bio whatever. And so he grabs her hand and puts it on. It's like, oh no, there's two of them. Oh, because brother and sister. Oh shit, what are we gonna do now? And then we're like, got it. And so we cut her hand off, and Hendrix is like, what the fuck? And then we're like, we had no choice. And I was like, I guess. Just let it happen, because fuck the CIA. Anyway, so then we put the hand, the cut off hand there, so Hendrix can drag this body somewhere else to do the other side. And then we have to, the reason we do this is so he can lock himself in a room to like decrypt and do all that stuff, and then it's like slowly counting down the timer, and so that we can hold off the bad guys to keep busting in the room and stuff. So let's see. So yeah. So we just defend Hendrix while he does the transfer and checks all the stuff. So we kill. We kill some more. Finally, he's complete. And instead of just like putting a bullet in the back of Xiao Lan's head, because Hendrix does not know how to operate as a Black Ops operator, and he thinks like when somebody, he feels like sacrificing the whole mission integrity to like get revenge on some random people. We have no idea if they were like prior members of these people or not, or like what their deal was, or if they're bad guys, or they could just be innocents, but also like the mission, the integrity of the mission, and like the millions of CIA agents that we could have like easily like stopped a lot of this bullshit, like transfer decrypting stuff from happening if we had just like gone in soft instead of like losing it. That Hendrix. So yeah, he forgets to kill Xiao Lan, so of course she's around later, because he's so dumb. Anyway, so we take like a zip line or a Z-tac line or whatever bullshit the game wants to say to get to this VTOL, so we can get the fuck out of here now that we've like got the information destroyed or whatever. But that gets blown up, and so we have to detach, and then we land on the roof of like Cloud Mountain, the biodome. It's like, well, I guess we're on to plan C or whatever, and that is to go hijack the boat. And the hijack a boat, we have to go through like the super tree. Yep, super tree. That's what they're called. So the super trees are like these power plant things. They like gather electricity from lightning, and then that's how they like power Singapore or like power the future. We use like the lightning power, which sure, why not? Okay. Ooh boy. So we fight our way. We kill till we get to the super tree, and then we're in the super tree because the dock's like right on the other side. And then the super tree gets blown up by like a warlock or a warlord or whatever, and it's like, ruh-roh, the super tree's crashing into the docks and destroy all the boats. What are we gonna do? So we kill our way, then we zip line down to the docks, we kill everybody in the docks area so that King can ride up on like an airboat, like from Louisiana. It's like, what's up, girl? Then we hop on that, we have to, and then she rides off, and we kill, blow some stuff up, and protect the boat and her while she does that. And then when we're like finally safe and like not completely exfilled out of there, but exfilled out of that like location in Singapore, back to like the safe house, we're like, hey, Hendrix, what'd you see what they were interfacing with that data drive, man? And he's like, I saw some all bullshit, and then he stomps away, and I was like, okay. So then at the intermission section, Hendrix and I talk about how the next step is to head over to the Coalescence building, because that's the site of where that is like the last time anyone heard from Taylor, because we can't check his DNI or any of that bullshit. No one's heard from him. So they were sent to the Coalescence building, I mean, after the explosion, to check something out, and that's when they went, like, dark. So then that's where we're going to go to see if we can find out more information. And then later on, after we, like, exit the intermission safe house and the mission actually kind of gets going, we're sitting around with Kane, and she's showing us, like, the footage from, like, the black site, and we see Taylor's team, and they came up, and they're the ones who killed the guys. And then Hendricks is like, I don't know if I believe this bullshit. And it's like, bro, you're looking at it right now. Anyway, so she's like, and then she repeats what we just had in the intermission, where it's like, hey, you guys could have the Coalescence building, got to figure out what was the motivation of Taylor and his crew. We got to figure out where they are so we can stop them from doing whatever shitty bullshit they're trying to do. And then they could have more access to more information over there. Or maybe they have access to information, or maybe they copied it or some old bullshit. So we got to stop that. And so we're gonna hit this place. There's like the Grand Silo, and the Grand Silo will take us 1 mile underground. The fuck? Whatever. Whatever. Fuck it, I guess. Okay, so then, and again, I may seem like I just don't care about a lot of this stuff as much as I did with the Modern Warfare games, but here's the difference. And I mentioned this during those games. I can forgive a lot of stuff, or like hand wave. I can go ahead and like let the game hand wave a lot of bullshit that doesn't make any sense if it's fun to play. And this game is super fun to play. Like, it's not the funnest. It's not even the funnest Black Ops game, right? Or it's not. Yeah. But it's way better than Modern Warfare games. And in fact, it might be the least fun Black Ops game that I played. Yeah, I would say playing this game was like playing through World at War or World War II. Either of those games, they were all right. I don't really like World War II games, to be completely honest. I don't like the weapons. I don't like the backdrop. I just don't give a fuck about World War II. Like, I'm not like American and shit, so I have no patriotism when it comes to like the Black Ops or the World War II stuff and whatnot. I'm just like, all right, cool, whatever. This is like, it was interesting the first like 500 times I played a video game or watched a movie about World War II, but after that it's like there's really not that much interesting stuff that occurred. It was just like this asshole went around taking other countries, and then, you know, these other assholes like pushed them off, even though they had like a world empire and he wasn't doing anything different than they were doing. So they're all a bunch of assholes as far as I'm concerned. A bunch of fuck you assholes, like leave people alone kind of stuff. And then finally, these like other assholes on the other side of the planet who were teamed up with the first asshole, they like attacked like just some random fucking country that was just like existing, minding their own goddamn business, literally minding their own goddamn business, dragged them into this thing. And then the first asshole then attacked his ally because he was like lost his goddamn mind, and should have been like assassinated by his own people. And I guess there was like an attempt. So that's the most interesting part. And then like the two world powers that were the biggest countries in the world with the biggest, most manpower, the most manufacturing capabilities, they just like converged on that first guy, and they just beat the shit out of him. And at some point, it stopped being about killing them; it became a race, just so you could conquer the most land. Like, it wasn't even. It's like they weren't even playing basketball against their team anymore. They were playing basketball against each other. Like, guys on the same team were like, you know what? Fuck this team. They're weak as shit. We're just gonna see how many points we can rack up between you and me, and whoever wins that wins. And it was like, goddamn. And that other team's like, hey, we're still here, and it's like, shut the fuck up. Right? That's literally what happened. Anyway, I know I got distracted. Oh, yeah. So Black Ops 3. Yeah. It's the least fun, but it's still fun. I still enjoyed myself. Like, it's got fun levels. It's got, like, fun tech. Like, the weird thing you can do where you, like, sync in with the DNI and get, like, the weird yellow and blue shit. I like that. It got kind of old, but, you know, the first few at this point in the game, I'm still, like, having a great time. All right. So now we head over to the Convalescence building, and if you equip a silencer onto your weapon when you start this level, because remember, you can completely kit yourself out, especially if you're playing like the actual version of this game that's connected to an actual network. That you can roll in there with like double rocket launchers for all the game fucking cares. But I didn't, so I just choose whatever like the default is, which has a silencer. So I roll in, and then we get a little snipe. We get a little stealthy level, which is fun. We stealth, kill, and eventually there's like this like I don't want to call it a mech, but it's not really a tank either. It's like a mech tank. Anyway, these things suck. The first time here when I'm first playing the game and I'm getting here, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. You have to like shoot it with a regular gun, and then you have to blow up the shield with a regular gun, and then you have to switch over to a rocket launcher or some sort of like explosive and then hit it. And you have like a very short amount of time, in my opinion, to do that. And it's not like it's super hard, but it's annoying. And then you have to do that like 3 times, which is like super annoying. And it gets even more annoying later on when there's a fucking level where you have to do it like, there's like 3 of these in a row, and it just like drags on and on and on. This time it's still dragged, but it was like, whatever. So it's called a like ASP, automated something, I don't know. It's easily the worst part of the game, just because it's so boring, right? It's like the one time I have to like stop and I'm like, oh, fuck this game. Okay, let's see. So Okay, so then we kill around some more. We find some dead Chinese soldiers, like the CDP or whatever. And then we talk about how Taylor and their crew were ordered here, which is odd. Like, why would they be ordered here after the explosion? Like, what are they looking for? And so then we pull out a recon drone, scan the place. We follow it around. We discuss that Hendricks is like, him and Taylor were like bros before hoes, like decades ago or whatever. Like something about girlfriends or wives or something. And that, they've been together for all this time, and there's no way he would betray them, and yada, yada, yada. They have like this deep-seated history or whatever. And that came up in like the first level too when Taylor showed up. He's like, oh, hey, how's that girl you're with? And he's like, we're not really together anymore. Which, that is important. I should have brought that up earlier. I can't believe I forgot about that. Yep, that's important. So Taylor used to be with some chick that Hendricks and him knew together through work, and then that didn't work out. Okay, so just put that in the back burner for now. And they start talking about how, like, okay, well, let's hypothetically say Taylor got compromised. What about the rest of them? What about Hall and Diaz and Mia Pisano? Marietti. The whole thing seems sus. Anyway, so as soon as we're killing our way through here, or we're not killing our way, we're wandering around through, we find some 54 Immortals, we kill them, then a robot start activating, and that's sketchy as shit, so that's fine. So we finally get to like actually fight like a lot of robots. We kill them. You fight them a little differently, like different kinds of stuff, right? Because they're robotic instead of human. You can still just shoot the shit out of them, but then there's certain like side items or like extra items that you can use instead of just shooting with bullets. That like stuff that works more particular against humans or stuff that works more particular against the robots, which is a nice touch, I have to say. So we get to kill a whole bunch of robots, wander around. And then eventually we figure out, hey, there's a Black Ops site in this building. So why? Also, at some point around here, the player, are like, hey, this place seems much more like a weapons manufacturing plant than like a bio-research plant that we were like originally sold. And then Kane's like, I don't know anything about that shit. And we're like, why is there a CIA Black Ops site in this corporation's like headquarters here in like Singapore where they're constructing a lot of weapons, and like the weapons being all these fucking robots and some other shady shit too. It's very interesting. And then we kind of start putting two together, and it's like, okay, so Taylor's team was sent here because of the CIA Black Ops site, or Black site, and they wanted to do something there, or like figure something out, or maybe they found something there. Anyway, so we finally get to this Black site, and there's a whole bunch of test subjects for DNI. And Kane's like, wait, that's impossible. They didn't start testing DNI, well, officially, until after the explosion. And it's like, well, au contraire, my lady, that you are wrong. You are hella wrong, because what the fuck's going on here? And then we find out one of these test subjects is Shay Xiong. And if you recognize that name, it's because I brought it up earlier. He was the contact we were supposed to meet up with that, like, yeah, that never really happened. But he's the one who, like, gave us information, quote unquote. So, like, did he really give us information? Because he's dead here, right? So what the fuck's he doing here? And what's this? This is so shady. Shady as shit. Good job, Black Ops. I love these games. Why the fuck is he here? And then at some point, Hendricks, like, turns off the comms with Kane. And then he's like, hey, so I think it's kind of sketchy that we were told to go meet this guy no one had ever seen before, and that, like, no one knew about. And then the Shah, what is it? Fuck his name. Chinese names. Shai Xiong. And then all of a sudden there's like a random Black Ops CIA site that nobody knew about. Like, the fuck's going on? And then we switch back on with Kane, and she's like, oh, hey, there's some crazy activity going on in like a server room down below where you guys are at. You better go check that out. And we're like, all right, cool, sounds good. So we kill our way down. As we're killing our way down, the comms go out because of some radiation bullshit or whatever. So we just keep killing robots. The comms come back on. We split up from Hendricks at some point. And again, we have this conversation about this is definitely a weapons plant. And then it's like, okay, cool, we're almost at there. You just got to take this elevator down. And when we get in the elevator, we start hearing Diaz. You remember Diaz? He's one of Taylor's crew. He's the guy who, like, helped us in the tutorial. He's the Latino gentleman. And so we're like, oh, hey, I'm hearing Kane. He's like, or sorry, to Kane, I'm hearing Diaz. He's like communicating with me or some bullshit. And so then Diaz starts talking, and he starts talking some real like crazy bullshit nonsense. Like, I love it. This is like totally Black Ops. He's like, hey, you got to like embrace the blue waves and the sky and the air. And then he starts talking about, and he talking about how like we don't want to do this. You got to turn around right now and leave. We want, we got to but we have to let the world know the truth, man. We have to let them know. And then Kane's like, oh man, Diaz is like hardwired into this place at this juncture. He's the one controlling all the robots. And like, if he doesn't like cut out of that, he's going to overload his brain and die. And then also he's uploading everything from the servers here. There's more servers here with daily uploads to the fucking CIA. So he's uploading all the intel to like, again, it's just, he's continuing the mission of Shu Lan. So we got to get to the bottom quick and stop him. And then we pop out and we start fighting these robots. And then we have this like super wacky, like Doom, like original Doom battle where there's like the center, he's in the middle. We kill some robots and then we like blast robots and we open like a cooling thing, and we have to blast the cooling thing and it opens up something else, and then we got to chuck like a grenade in there to hit Diaz. We have to do it like 3 times, and then at some point Hendrix shows up and he's trying to like open things as well to help us out, and so we have to protect him from like robots that are like climbing up on the walls to get to him and like exploding. And anyway, this is a pretty tough level, I'm not gonna lie. And this is, oh, sorry, that rant I was talking about, the oceans and stuff, I'm sorry. It comes up now. So he starts talking about surrendering himself, and then he's like, oh, the blue waves, and you gotta surrender yourself to the frozen forest. No, imagine yourself in a frozen forest, and you imagine the snow falling from the sky, and it's melting on your skin, and you feel at peace with the universe, and some bullshit hippie nonsense. So he keeps talking about that, and then we keep destroying stuff and blowing up the core and doing that. And then eventually we bust him up, and the whole thing like collapses on him, and he's like dying as this thing's like crushing him to death, and the whole server area is like blown the shit out of and stuff. And then Hendrix is like, oh my gosh, he's dying. We got to get the information from him. And Hendrix is like, wait, if we get the information from him, it's going to fry his brain. And she's like, yeah, doy. That's what you got to do, asshole. You're a fucking cog in a machine. What was that speech? Oh, that was that guy from World War II. God, that game was good. What was his fucking name? Sergeant, what's his fuck? We are cogs in a machine. Yes. You know who needs that talk right now? Hendrix. Hendrix needs that goddamn talk. Because he needs to learn. You are just a cog in a machine. Do what you're fucking told. Anyway, so he dives into Diaz, gets the information. He comes back out. He's like, holy shit. So when he finally recovers, he tells us Taylor's looking for the survivors from the explosion because he needs to get something from him. But they're gone. They left Singapore a while ago, so we got to leave too. At that point, the 54 Mortals start coming in. Good old Go Shu Lan. She orders the whole place fucking flooded, and her companion's like, or her bodyguard's like, that's gonna kill our guys too. And she's like, I didn't ask for permission, motherfucker. Just do it. Destroy it all. And so we're like heading up an elevator when the explosion goes off and the whole place starts getting flooded. Dudes are screaming, robots are blowing up. We have to bust out, kill our way. We have to swim around, kill some robots that are swimming around. At some point, Kane is like, oh, I found the survivors. One of them's named Kruger and one of them's Dr. Salim. So and then we have to like kill. We get to this one room. And it's like, oh, fuck, we're stuck. What are we going to do? And then Kane's like, crack open that door and then hold your breaths and swim out. And we're like, what the fuck? And she's like, you got to do it. And so then we do that. We bust open this door, hold our breaths, we swim, we kill more robots that are flying around. We have to dodge depth charges. It's pretty epic. Like, it's pretty fucking epic. And then we get there, and right as we're about to run out of breath, we get pulled out, Hendrix and we're like, oh, shit, we're good. And then a VTOL shows up, and it's like, ah, fuck you. And then a piece of the wall crashes and destroys it. And I was like, badass. Fuck you, VTOL. We then check in with the Kane, let her know we're doing all right. But she's like, I'm all right for now, but the Immortals have all the locations from the safe houses all over the CIA, which is currently where I'm at because, Diaz like gave him all that information. And we're like, fuck, we need to kill her and get the fuck out of Singapore. And she's like, no, just leave me go. You guys got to go get these guys and do whatever. We're like, no, I want to fuck you, so we're definitely going to come rescue you. And Hendrix is like, hey, man, just so you know, she's probably dead, and you probably don't want to see that because I know you're like into her for some odd reason that I can't figure out. Maybe because you're both like ones. But anyway, and we're like, no, I really want to fuck her, so we're gonna go. And I was like, oh, I threw up in my mouth a little bit more. So we go to rescue her, no matter what. Well, looks like the whole world knows about all the CIA bullshit now. No covering that stuff up. Hendrix talks about it with us. And also, the big important thing to know is that not only all these black sites around and they're doing all this shady stuff, but there was a black site directly related to the explosion in Singapore that caused all these problems in the first place. And that the this whole area was just abandoned by the Winslow Accord. So not looking good. Looking accurate, but not looking good. Anyway, it's time to get Kane, I guess. So we kill our way over to the safe house. On the way, we run into the Immortals. They're killing everybody. Like, essentially anybody on the pathway between, like, this biodome and the safe house is getting murked. Civilians, whatever, anybody. And it's like, oh, damn, they really want this thing to go down. And I'm like, yeah, they do. Why? No answers. Don't worry about it. We continue to argue about Kane, whether she's trustworthy, whether she's not. Obviously, us as the player, and it hurts my soul to say this, want to fuck her. So we're like, no, we got to be loyal to her and her pussy and stuff. And we got to trust her and stuff. And so we just keep disagreeing this whole time. We get closer and closer. And then at some point we start to hear Taylor. Taylor's speaking right to us. And him and Hendricks go back and forth. Hey, how could you betray? What are you doing? What's your thing? And Taylor's being super cryptic and stuff. But he also kind of clarifies a few things. He says the CIA was hiding all these things, these illegal human experiments. And then he's like, who are the real bad guys? And Hendricks is like, the 54 Immortals. And then Taylor's like, are they? And at the same time in my head, I'm like, are they? Like, I'm with Taylor on this one. Fuck. Yeah. So what? How are they the bad guys? And we got this conversation from Daniel Lee, and I honestly believe. I'm thinking about this now before I say it out loud. I think that the writers did an excellent job here of conveying different thoughts and sides when it comes to this whole turmoil. Like, I 100% agree with Taylor and Daniel Lee that it's like, hey, these like massive treatises, these massive NATO governments and whatever, are a bunch of assholes who all they do is go around and cause problems for people, and then they don't even clean up their own fucking messes. And so you have this organization, I don't know, like Al-Qaeda, or the 54 Immortals, who roll in and like they provide power and food and stability, right? It's like the mafia in Sicily when the Italians were just like, go fuck yourselves. And we're like, okay, well, I guess fuck us. And then these like jabronis were like, no, fuck them. We got this. And we're like, oh, this is so much better. I'm glad we have, it's like a corrupt kingdom, but guess what? All governments are fucking corrupt. So is it really that different? It's like, are they giving the people what they actually need? Like fucking electricity and food and water and security? Then you know what? Even if they are a little corrupt and crazy, like at least it's something. What's the West doing? Oh, what? They came in here. They set up a secret site inside this corporation. They blew up and killed 300,000 people. They created superstorms and then they were just like, wall it off. Don't let anyone out. And it's like, hey, what about food and stuff? They're like, go fuck yourselves. Oh, by the way, don't get help from these guys because they're assholes. And it's like, no, you're the assholes. Taylor talks about... but at the same time, then you have like Hendricks and the players somewhat who are like, no, pro the West. We should definitely waste all this time and money and send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine for reasons that are never fully explained or rational. But, neither of these are like over the top or neither of these are really like pushing your face. It's like two guys having an argument and you're just like there watching. So, yeah, it's really good. It's really good writing. Makes you think. Really makes you think where all that writing went in modern games. Well, I should qualify modern Western games. Anyway, and then at some point he logs off. We try to reach out to Kane. She's not answering. So it's like, all right, cool, let's split up. So we split up. We kill a lot of Immortals. And then we're like doing some sneaky stuff where we can like roll on in and just blast the shit out of stuff where we can like be sneaky, shoot drones, see snipers, shoot guys. We get this like sweet little like Chinese temple section block where it's like super sneaky and stuff and it's super fun. And then right when we get to the end, Kane reaches out. Like the doorway that leads out of this section. And she's like, oh, hey, the safe house has been breached. I'm moving to the second floor. And we're like, oh, fuck. And then as we like bust through this door to keep getting to the safe house, then we hear Go Shu Lan reaches out to us. And she's calling us out, calling the West out. And they're like, the fuck? How'd this happen? And then Taylor comes in and he's like, I gave her your communications. Boom. Suck it, bitches. And then Taylor starts going off about like a single man can make a big difference in society or something bullshit, whatever. Can do the right thing, make the right thing happen. Anyway, we continue to kill our way forward till we get to the actual safe house. And once we're there, we see it's heavily under fire by the Immortals. So then we just have to like mop up. We kill everyone, kill all the drones, all the robots, all the men, all the vehicles, whatever. And after that, right as we're walking into the safe house, and Hendricks is like, oh, man, you sure about this? She's probably fucked up. She hasn't answered anything. And we're like, yes, I want that pussy, dead or alive. And then the whole thing, like, explodes, the whole fucking thing. And it's like, oh, no, Kane. No such luck, boys. She's alive, and she's fine. So we head in because we got to get that pussy. And It's just so good. It's so succulent. I guess. And and Hendrix is like gonna watch the outside and hang tight, I guess. And so then there's a Go Shu Lan, and she's talking shit again over the mic, and she's like, "Oh, your little girlfriend, I fucked up real good." So we kill our way all the way through here, fight and kill robots, kill people, whatever. We finally get to the panic room, open it up, and there's Kane, and she's okay. She's beat the shit up, and she's tied up, and I guess she's got some more scars, which, I don't know. It's hard to go below a 1. So, like, I guess it adds character. Jesus. And honestly, if they didn't point out the scars, I wouldn't have even been able to tell. Maybe they're talking about emotional scars, and she had those before. I don't know. Who cares? At that point, Go Shu Lan makes her move. She tries to crack us in the back of the head and shoot us, but we beat the shit out of her, and we take her face and shove her right in the fire, and we just hold her there till her whole body like burns the fuck up, and then she's dead. Bruh. Badass. This game ain't pulling no punches. Ain't no Modern Warfare where it's like, oh, we can't kill him. It's against the rules of war. Oh, the ghost is like, maybe we should just kill the motherfucker? No, we can't kill him. We can't ever kill anybody ever. I mean, I just slaughtered like an entire battalion's worth of men by myself. But to kill this one man who's like the main bad guy, hell, how could we possibly even imagine? How could we possibly even imagine going into Mexico, killing Mexican soldiers in the Mexican army in Mexico, but then we capture the terrorist who's been doing all this shady shit and bombs and stuff, and we're just gonna let him the fuck go. Why? We don't have jurisdiction here. And look at all the corpses and all the senoritas who are not gonna have their husbands home that evening. And I'm like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? I hate that game so much. Still the best one. Anyway, and then Hendrix like rolls in, he's like, oh shit, Kane's alive. Oh, no joke. And we're like, we told you so, asshole. And he's like, huh. Anyway, moving on. In the next level, or the next safe house level, we find out that Kane's getting taken care of. She'll be fine. We like took a VTOL out of there. And then it's like, oh man, now what are we gonna do? We gotta hunt down our own. It's like, all right, so what are our choices here? We got to disconnect from the communications because the DNI is compromised and shit. So we can't have Taylor keep like hacking into our system and telling us crazy bullshit and stuff. And then it's like, and then Hendrix is like, do you really feel good about this? And we're like, feel good about what? He's like, hunting down our own. And he's like, they broke the Winslow Accords. And in my head, I'm like, fuck the Winslow Accords. And also, the Winslow Accords started this. They built the secret site. They blew up that whole place. They caused all these problems. And then they sent their own guys in there, hoping they would just, like, go with it. Go with their, like, illegal experimentation on innocent people and all that stuff. And when they didn't, they're like, hey, those guys are being mean. Go kill them all. Go stop them. And we're like, well, actually, you guys are being mean. They're just, like, they caught you being mean. So, like, what the fuck's your problem? Assholes. Stupid Winslow Accord. Anyway. Oh yeah, and then they bring up the global uplink again. So apparently all DNIs are connected to the CIA global uplink, and for some reason we have to cut the communications off with everybody because they're going to get back into our communications relay, but via the DNI, which they also have, which I don't know if they disconnected. And then from there they're going to have all the information. Well, whatever, it's stupid. At least the game's fun. So then it's time to track down Kruger or Salim. Kruger, no fucking clue where that guy's at. Salim, he's in Cairo. Super easy. We were Cairo, Khalil, and that Prime Minister guy. Awesome. We got that. All right. So is Salim part of the Cairo Revolution? I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. Teehee. Fucking Black Ops. So we find out the Egyptian police have captured Salim, and they take him to like their little Ramses subway station, where they're like, or Ramses police station, where they're all hanging out, being secure and stuff. And then we like roll in on a train, and I'm like, where are we taking this train from? Why don't we just VTOL all the way into fucking Egypt with our allies and stuff? And I'm literally like, do we take this train, I don't know, from the moon? Like, why the fuck are we on a train? Well, whatever, who cares? All right, whatever. So Egypt is being attacked by the Nile River something, the NRC. Conglomerate? I don't know, maybe. And this is a coalition. Coalition? Maybe it's the Nile River Coalition. Anyway, so the coalition is being led by, Ethiopia. Yep, Ethiopia is so powerful, they can hang with the third or second biggest military force in all the Middle East, because they have some sort of bullshit coalition. Ethiopia, mind you, I mean, granted, this is like 50 years in the future almost, so maybe, but like, why would anyone allow this to happen, right? Like America and China, they love repressing like native peoples to this day and their home countries, and just like not allowing them to do shit. So like, why all of a sudden are we gonna let 50 years of like expansive growth and technological improvement help these poor people in this place out? Like, they wouldn't. None of this makes sense. The Winslow Accord, and they're not part of the Winslow Accord, so how are they getting all this shit? They just getting it? Is China just like handing it to them? Why the fuck would they do that? China's got like no resources, no people. They're getting tariffed to hell and back. Like, they're not a good place to be helping anybody. Like, and they've never been. Anyway, so then whatever. So then we run into Khalil, and it's like, "What's up, Hobie?" And he doesn't like nod or say like, "Hey brothers, thanks for rescuing me" or anything from that prison cell. You remember from that previous level, since this takes place like years later? Like, I haven't seen you guys in a while, and you saved my life and saved the prime minister. You think I'd act like I had some recognition? And the main character is just like, "Sup?" And he's like, "What's up?" And they like shake hands. And Kane's like, "Oh, are you Khalil?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's me." It's like they've never talked or heard from each other ever in this game. It's a Black Ops game. Put 2 and 2 together. All right, so he explains the situation. They're pretty fucked up. They got a nice little force, and then they have this thing called the Dead System. And the Dead System is all thanks to dun-da-dun Menendez. And then Hendricks like, "Fuck Menendez." And then Khalil's like, "Au contraire," because of... and in my head, I was like, that was like 50 fucking years ago. What does that have to do with shit? Anyway, but back in 2025, remember when Menendez, in the canonical ending, he got killed, and then they started revolutions, and they like destroyed all the AI, or the drones and stuff. And so then the Winslow Accord passed. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. They passed some sort of drone act. And as part of that, they built these dead systems all over the place. And these dead systems are set up, I can't remember what they stand for, but they're set up to protect like military, police, civilian infrastructure, and all that stuff, so that if like there's rioters or there's some other bullshit, that they have access to these things. And this is like really helping push it back against NRC, because they only have like 1,000 people in their military here in Cairo, which doesn't make any sense, but whatever. And Hendricks again is like, "Fuck that guy, got what he deserved." And so whatever. Anyway, so we split up a little bit. We like head to the interrogation room. Some of the people like Kane and Khalil like wanders off. Kane goes to like watch from the cameras what's going on, and then Hendricks and I head inside the interrogation room. Hendricks immediately starts getting after it with Salim, threatening him, showing pictures of Taylor's crew, telling him they're going to kill him if he doesn't kill him first, or if he doesn't give him information, we'll protect him, but then they're going to kill him, but if he doesn't, we'll just kill him here. A lot of that bullshit. Meanwhile, we literally pick up a glass of water, throw a tracker in there. I guess it's a real small micro tracker, right? And so then we hand it off to Salim, who chugs it down, and we're like, smile. And then Hendricks is like, "Hey, get the fuck out of here, I'm going to take care of this guy." And we're like, "Okie dokie." And as we're walking out, Kane's like, "He's probably got it, right? He'll be fine." And he is fine. He like smashes tables, tosses things, threatens again to kill this guy, like death by Taylor's team. Eventually, Salim reveals that he's a psychotherapist and that he was hired specifically to work with the test subjects. And then Hendricks makes some comment about these. Were they voluntary? In a very snide way. And the guy's like, "I think you already have your answer, motherfucker." And then at some point he's like, "Tell me about the goddamn frozen forest." And like Hendricks, he's like really losing it at this point. But then thank goodness we have an explosion nearby that like sets the whole thing off, and it's like, oh, we gotta go check that out. So then the NRC invades the station. We have to go we meet up with Khalil, and then we just like kill our way out of the station, clear that whole thing off. And it's like, oh, hey, we got to go hit the eastern checkpoint. I think it's eastern. It might have been western. But yeah, the eastern checkpoint. And we head out there and we kill some more. This part's pretty cool. We lower and raise level, like walls or streets or whatever. Well, no, we're lower and raising walls as we're fighting and killing drones and shit. And the whole point is that we got to like push these things into the ground so it collapses the entire road into the earth, and making the station safe from this point of view. NRC are done. They're pretty crafty, so they found another path inside the station over at like Safira Square or something. At that juncture, we get a call from Kane. Oh no, Taylor broke in and he got Salim. Oh goodness. So we kill our way back over there. Taylor starts talking about, hey, you know the truth, but you don't know the full truth, specifically to Hendricks. And then we get this crazy scene where there's like a VTOL blasted down, and we gotta go rescue a guy, and we're like hopping up on that, and we're killing more guys, and we head to like the cockpit, which is about to like have a lot of issues real soon. And then there's a guy, and then the pilot's like, "Help me!" And he's literally, we try to pull him off, but he's got this like fucking thing sticking out of his chest by like 1.5 feet, and it's like, nah, bro, you're dead. Rest in peace. And then Khalil starts to get mad. This is all our fault. If they hadn't been involved, none of this would have happened. Something. They're losing the station. They're losing Salim. What's the point of any of this stuff? And then And then Taylor starts talking to Hendrix again. He's like, why don't you just let us go? We have so many things we need to do. I love butterflies and shit. And he's like, you know me. Why would you do that? And then we fight some more of those ASP assholes. Those big things we have to like shoot, and then rocket, shoot, and rocket. Really boring. And then we continued, and then at some point we're like, oh shit, is the dead system down? And then Khalil's like, the dead system's down. And then Kane's like, guys, the dead system went down. Ruh-roh. And so then Khalil starts blaming us for the loss of the station and possibly the loss of Cairo. And then we're like, no, we got this still. It'll be fine, man. Don't worry about it. And he's like, no, fuck you guys, something. And then we contact Kane and we're like, hey, where's that tracker? And then Hendrix starts losing it. He's like, hey, tracker? What tracker? There is a tracker? Why'd you put a tracker? Why didn't you tell me about this tracker? We're like, bro, you need to calm the fuck down. You've been compromised since like Singapore. And then we go back and forth. And at some point he punches us in the face. And we're like, you need to get your fucking head right, son. And he's like, man, I don't know, I'm losing it. I got a lot of second thoughts about doing this mission and everything that's going on. And we kind of like are able to calm each other down. And it's like, all right, I'm sorry, I apologize for hitting you in the face and being an asshole. We're like, that's cool. It's time to get after it. Once again, back at the safe house, we're hanging out with Kane this time, or I guess we're just kind of getting voices from her. We start talking about Hendrix, what's going on with him. He's getting like a diagnostic check, so he's not around. So at this point, she confesses to us that she has a confession. What is that confession, Kane? What are you hiding from us? Oh, she's hiding so much. At that point, she just says, can I trust you? And then we're like, what? Can we trust you? And then she says, hey, so once Taylor and their team like figured out, learned all this information from the Black Ops site, they were threatening to like come clean to like the whole world about the CIA's like dubious actions, which they've been doing since the inception of the CIA, right? That have not helped anybody besides the organization in itself. And so because Taylor and them had learned this information and the CIA really didn't want it getting out that they caused this explosion, killed all these people, and they were doing like a secret illegal experiments, CIA called them back so they could, what is it called? Delete them? Is that what the kids say these days? No, they were going to murder the shit out of them. That's what they were going to do. And then we start talking about like, hey, so, okay, that makes sense. I'm all in the program, right? I'm obviously here and I love the CIA and I think they're the best thing ever. Not in real life, obviously, because I'm not an idiot, but this moron in the game that we're playing. And so he's just like, oh yeah, that's no big deal. Whatever, the CIA can do all sorts of atrocities and I'll just go along with it because I'm a dipshit who just like plays along to get along or something. I don't know. Completely immoral person who supports CIA. Which is anybody who supports CIA. Anyway, so then Taylor is, let's see, okay, so how is Taylor talking to us? Even though we have like a closed loop or something. And then she's like, oh, it's probably because he has a corrupted DNI. And I'm like, but we closed it off. No one should be able to get in here. I guess the corruption is allowing the entity to speak to us regardless of our desires. So cool, I guess. All right. Anyway, so what about Hendrix? He's kind of flying off the handle and getting a little crazy with this whole like Frozen Forest business. What are we gonna do about him? And Kane's like, oh, from a distance, I can keep him drugged up real good. Nothing too crazy. Just, level him out a little bit. It's like, okay. That's a good option, I guess. Anyway, so it's time to launch an assault on the Aquifer to get Salim back. So a little bit later on, we're flying with Hendrix in a VTOL, and then all of a sudden, this fucking giant mech like bursts out of this wall or building or some shit, and like knocks it down. And it's I think they call it a Manticore, and it's this big fucking mech, and it's Sarah Hall's in there. Oh, you remember Sarah Hall? She was the next person in line to Who Needs to Die from Taylor's team after Diaz. Remember, because we saw Diaz, then Hall in the tutorial, and then Mia Paisano Madrietti, and then Taylor will be the final, what do they call that? The rose on my coffin or the bell on my dress or some shit. Anyway, this whole thing's pretty badass. We completely lose Salim at some point at this point. Like his vitals are gone. So like obviously he's dead. So it's like, ruh-roh, okay, we got to get into Hall's brain to figure out where Taylor and Moriarty are. So we got to beat the shit out of her. So we do. We fight this thing and fight. It's a pretty good fight. It's like fighting mechs and good stuff like that. Anyway, we're about to interface with Sarah Hall to like get the information that we need from her, and we get some like sass from Hendrix, and I'm like, motherfucker, you literally just did this to Diaz. Like he says some old bullshit. It's like, is this really who we are? And I was like, god damn, dude. Even read one too many feminist blogs. Like the fuck is wrong with you? Like, is this who we are? Shut the fuck up. Yes, yes, Karen. This is who the fuck we are. In fact, you literally did the same thing. Like, I don't know, 5 minutes ago. Like, shut the fuck up. God damn, man. Andrews is such a bitch in this game. Anyway, but our excuse in game is not that. It's not the sensible thing where it's like, yeah, this is our job. Like, there's so many reasons why you could just be like, shut the fuck up, Hendrix. But he's like, nah, man, America, fuck yeah, or some old bullshit. Anyway, so we start the interface, and right as we're about to interface, there's like this giant explosion, and then everything goes black. Everything goes black, and then white, and then we see all these white trees, and I'm like, hey, it's the frozen forest, maybe. We then walk around here and see like images of Salim and Kruger as we're like moving around, and then we hear like a baby, and then they're talking about the baby, and they're talking about the experiments, and at some point one of them mentions like Corvus. Corvus is almost done, or Corvus is done, and then Zurich. We got to go to Zurich. Something Zurich. It's the whole thing's pretty sketchy. It's very Black Ops. It's very excellent. And then Salim gets concerned. He's like, well, you know, it's always been human-to-human interface, so like this is different. I have a lot of qualms about this whole situation because I'm a behavioral psychotherapist. Yeah, that's not a real thing, but whatever. That's what they call them. Anyway, but it's all very good. It's all like excellent, like cryptic bullshit that is why we love the Black Ops series, because it's like, oh, what kind of crazy bullshit is going on now? We gotta put our thinking caps on. We can't just like roll face with this story like some parts of the Call of Duty franchise. So then at some point we wander around, we pick up this baby that's been crying, and then it like fades into dust or some old craziness. And then this whole screen goes white, and then it goes black, and then we're like in the black site in Singapore before the accident, and we're getting like some talk from Sarah. She's like, oh, we were sent by the CIA. It's that kind of thing, right? She's like recalling what occurred and like telling us like a narrator as we like go through this. And we go back and forth between here and some other craziness. This whole level is fucking rad. Okay, so before the accident, this black site was working on something. That something is Corvus. And then at that point, Corvus speaks to us, and it's like, this is where I was born. And it's like, oh, it's some sort of like crazy AI nanobot bullshit thing. Got it. Cool. I love nanomachines. Nanomachines are the excuse for like science fiction to have just like nonsensical bullshit 100% of the time. Anyway, and then the subjects we're like back in the room. We saw the test subjects. They all start to convulse. Then they release Nova 6. All right, I guess we're doing callbacks. Like, Nova 6 wasn't a thing in Black Ops 2. Like, it was, like, mentioned, but I guess they, like, dug it back up. Like, what did Black Ops 1 take place? That took place in, like, the 70s, right? So it's been 100 years, and the best they can come up with is this bullshit Nova 6 still. Like, all right, maybe they refined it. I think, in fact, they mentioned they did refine it. Anyway, so it spreads into the room and kills everybody. And, yep. Taylor's team got called in afterwards. They find there's, like, tons of ethical violations. Like, OSHA would have a field day coming into this thing. Like, all sorts of workplace safety issues. A little bit later on, they find the server room, at which point Taylor interfaces with it, and Corvus, like, immediately inserts themselves. I don't want to assign a gender to this, like, AI killing machine thingy. Virus, I don't know. But then Hall's like, oh, Taylor, are you doing okay? And it's kind of like somewhat implied that they have like maybe a romantic relationship, which Sarah is like a 2 out of 10, which is much better than Kane, who is like a 0 out of 10. But still, it's like, oh, gross. Like, come on, bros. You're a bunch of special forces guys. You can sling puss like nothing else. Like, what are you doing? Well, whatever. Anyway. But she gets infected too, and then, you know, it just seems like Diaz and Melirati, they all get, or Melirati, they all get infected as well. And then it kind of fades out, fades in. We're now in a snowy forest. Is this the frozen forest? Nope, it's Bastogne. And if you don't know anything about World War II history, you can go back and watch my my Call of Duty World War II video, because we play in the Battle of Bastogne, and it's just like, it's winter in like the Black Forest of Germany, and it was like real awful. I mean, the old World War II was real awful, but this is like the least enjoyable part of this game. Not because it's bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's kind of fun. Like, there's like resurrected Germans and stuff we gotta kill, and there's like all sorts of crazy mind games and like, you know, good old Black Ops kind of bullshit you gotta do here, while Sarah like floats around like fucking Mother Teresa resurrecting people, and like, or Mother Mary, full of grace and all that shit. But yeah, you know, whatever. So then she talks about how she was thinking a lot about World War II when she was working on her dissertation in like 2060. So like almost like 130 years after the fucking thing happened and ended. And I'm like, man, this is like me writing a... It's kind of stupid. No, it's fine. Because it's like, yeah, I mean, World War II was like a thing that occurred. And like, if you're like in the military academy, you're going to like write about a war. And you're like, oh, I like this part of this war over here. But it still seems like way too... They're like, oh, World War II. You remember? We have a game coming out called Call of Duty World War II a little bit. You should buy that game because look at it. Look, you remember Call of Duty when we did World War II? It was fun, right? Right, everybody? That's what it felt like. Anyway, it's fine. Like I said, it's like a fun level. And then at some point we get attacked by like fucking dire wolves. And they're annoying as shit. But, you know, still it's like, wow, what the... This game is like... I love these games. They're so wacky. like they're like serious to a point. And then after that, it's just like... silly games. Like, oh man, good stuff. And then Corvus speaks up again, and he's like, "Imagine yourself in a frozen forest." And it's like, oh yeah, this asshole, fuck you. Then we kill around a bit. We kill. Hall gets upset that we're killing, and then we go back to like. At some point, she's like realizes that she's dying, and she's like mad that we killed her, or we're killing her with like going through her brain and stuff. And it's like, bitch, you're already dead, son. Besides, you attacked us first. You got what you deserved. And then we kind of like, you know, we're like, hey, so back to Salim, please. And so she's like, oh yeah. This is what I was talking about. We kind of bounce back and forth. So we go into like the World War II and we play around at that. And she like talks about all this bullshit. And then we're like, no, Salim's what we need, Hall. Like get your shit together. And then. So then we pop back over there, and I was just thinking about this actually. So and I keep going back between Sarah and Hall because it's Sarah Hall. There's not one other character in this game. I don't even think Kane gets referred to by their first name, but for some reason we keep calling her Sarah instead of Hall, which is interesting. And then I want to point that out because it plays into like the grand mystery of this whole like adventure. And just like when it's like, hey, whenever I start talking about DNI and like the stuff DNI does and like implanted memories and shit, you should like pay attention. If you're following along, you don't know anything about this game, like you should pay attention to some of the stuff I'm talking about that directly involves Taylor and Sarah Hall. Okay, so that being said, oh Lord, she talks about pretty much what Kane told us before, that the CIA was like, hey, good job guys, can you come back? We just need to not murder you, we need to work on upgrades. And then Taylor and crew are like, they're definitely gonna fucking kill us if we go back. And that's because they had information that would shatter the Winslow Accord, which it probably should, because fuck the Winslow Accord, fuck NATO. Anyway, so they had to be silenced. And so and then she tells this like wackadoo story about how like the guy we were supposed to meet at the very beginning who was like dead, the Shao whatever his name is, that he was sent by the Immortals to come to the research facility and kill all the people there in the black site that we showed up to with like the eyes and the ears and the nose missing out. And they were like, nah, Sarah, that's some old bullshit. And then we get like a replay of that whole scene, and it's actually Taylor and crew that are doing it. And then we get pulled right back into World War II, so we kill. We get to fight like a Tiger tank, which is fucking sweet, and we hit that, and then it like transforms into like a mech tank thingy, and that's fun. And we burst into like this church, and we're killing around there, and there's one of these asshole ASP things that I hate so much in there, and we're killing out, and we're calling out to Hall and all this stuff. And then at some point Corvus is like, get out, and then we go back to Egypt. And this is where, so then Sarah tells us that they traded information about Corvus for passage to Egypt from the 54 Immortals. And why? Why did they want to come to Egypt? Well, for Dr. Salim, because he knew about the forest, the frozen forest. So they hid in the aquifers and waited for Salim for an opportunity to strike and take Salim, and that's what they did. And what are the aquifers? The aquifers are not just like some fun like Roman aquifers that like brought water to the people and like changed civilization forever. They're these mobile water tower things that like travel around the desert and like deposit water to different cities, I guess. I know it's not fully explained, but they're badass. And when we hit that aquifer in the next level, you're like, this level's fucking awesome. So again, the rule of cool overrides like kind of what the fuck's going on in this story? Like, what is this bullshit? Because you're like, well, whatever, it's fun, I'm having a good time. Which is the complete opposite of the Modern Warfare series, just to like drive another nail in that coffin, because those games were boring as shit to play in the single player, at least. I heard the multiplayer was pretty good. And so when all the inconsistencies and the story nonsense and all the woke bullshit's like seeping through, it's like super obvious because there's nothing to distract you from like all the bullshit that's going on. Which if you watch my last 3 videos, specifically about the Call of Duty games, you'll see me go on some like pretty intense rants. Or I was just like fed the fuck up with those games. Anyway, back to a good game. We find out that Salim, which, I mean, we already knew this, was part of the whole CIA mind control thing because, yeah, Black Ops. And then and then Taylor's like, he's talking to Salim, and he's like, what's the frozen forest? And Salim's like, the what? What? Nani desu ka? And then Taylor's like, no, you know what, the frozen forest. We're supposed to imagine a frozen forest. What the fuck does that mean? And then Salim's like, it doesn't mean anything. And I was like, damn. He used hypnosis on these motherfuckers to, like, calm them down. And that's literally who tells them. It's some like psychological bullshit. Because all these guys were experimenting on it. It was just like give them some peace and like a place. Like it's just like their what's it more like? It's like their palace, their peace. Like in a, it's one of those not Billy, one of those Adam Sandler movies where they had like the inner palace or whatever, where he goes and it's like chicks with giant breasts and stuff. I think it was Happy Gilmore. If you're like my age or a little bit younger, you saw that movie like when I was in high school. But it's like that. It's like, my palace. The frozen forest. Imagine yourself in a frozen forest. I'm like, that's some damn good hypnosis shit, man. That's excellent. Good job. Good writing. Good writing. Again, Treyarch, crushing it. Always crushing it with this shit. Sometimes you have some old bullshit. Most of the time, doing great jobs. Okay, let's see. So then... But he had nothing to do with any of the other shady stuff. He was just trying to help people adapt to being like cyborgs and adapting and like working on this Corvus like fucking nano AI bullshit thing. I can't remember if it ever actually goes into like explicit detail about what Corvus is or anything. I'm sure it does somewhere. Maybe in like a thing you pick up or like one of those like Black Ops things you look at after the fact or you find on a computer screen or whatever they like to do. But the guy who was involved with all the shady stuff and kind of kidnapping people and doing the illegal experiments, that's Kruger, and he's still alive, right? So what happened to him? He noped the fuck out to Zurg. He was like, adios, bitches. And at that point, Taylor's like, rah! And he kills Salim. And it's like, well, sad. We can't use him as a tracker anymore. We then head into we then teleport like in our mystical nightmarish landscape into like a burning building at night, surrounded by a snowy field. And if you've played Call of Duty Zombies on any iteration, you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. And I do not like Zombies mode. It's okay. It's one of those things where it's like I can play it and I get it and I can understand why some people like it a lot. I do not like it. I have tried playing it. I tried playing it multiplayer way back with like World at War, and then I tried again a few times while I was going through the Call of Duty games, just like, let's try the Zombies thing, see if it got any better. And it's like, no, it's the same old boring bullshit that I do not care for whatsoever. And yeah, if you're playing with like a team of 4 guys and you're all homies and you're all like having a good time, then yeah, I could see it being fun. But by myself, I was like, nah. Anyway, boring as shit. So then at some point, Hall is like talking about how her brain's dying and all this, the zombies and everything is like a manifestation of like her dying brain. And then at some point she's like in a tree in the middle of the house or whatever, and she's like, kill me now. And so we kill her. And then we see like this huge nuclear blast and it knocks us down. And then we hear Corvus's voice and it's like, listen to my voice. Imagine yourself in a frozen forest. And then, ba-dam, we're back in reality. And then we're like, hey, they're like, you okay? And we're like, yeah, I'm fine. So Taylor is at the aquifers. We got to head over there. And then Hedrick's kind of like, something. And he like storms off or wanders off or the fuck, he's not there anymore. And then Kane's there. And then we're like, hey, so I had a nightmare about this thing, about Corvus. And like, hey, it's getting smarter. Like it's infesting all these things and it's like learning how to adapt and make changes and stuff. And then she like looks around real shady like to make sure no one else is around. And she's like, hey, we need to talk. All right. So back at the safe house, we talk about the Egyptian army with Kane. They're doing great. Never give up hope. Hopefully we can help them out in the future. Make it up to them. Don't forget that. We then talk about the link with Hall. We talk about how something strange inside the people, something strange was born inside all the people who were experimented upon, and then we start seeing like ravens fly around and shit. Okay, kind of represents Corvus, I guess. And then we talk about what is Taylor exactly looking for. He's looking for the frozen forest. Okay, time to attack the aquifer. And this week, rolling in a sweet ass plane. It's called like an F-85, which sure, why not? We're like 50 years in the future. We're already at 35. It's only a few more steps down the road. Oh, well, it's so dumb. Anyway, so we kill. We kill planes. We kill dudes. We fly around. We help Khalil's men beat the shit out of everything. Then it's like, oh no, we need to take care of the air defense so we can land. Okay, cool. Blow up the air defense. We just murk the whole rig. We just fly around in this fucking thing. We can like turn into a VTOL where it kind of hovers like a helicopter and then keep going. Cully's like, hey man, we need to take down the comms tower so they stop getting like backup or something. We do, but it doesn't matter. So, but we land with Kane. And we kill some dudes, we hack into some stuff, kill some more dudes, back to the plane, go kill some more dudes. APSs show up, clear all that shit. We gotta land again, hit the comm station again, rinse, repeat. We also get attacked by these fucking mines that I hate. They like roll around and blow up. These things have been around like the whole game. They're like these robotic rolly mines. They're awful. I hate them. Hendrix keeps freaking out. We just tell him, to listen to our voice and think about the Frozen Force. Just kidding. We tell him to stop being such a bitch. Kane mentions at some point around here that we're corrupted, he's corrupted, that we got the corruption from Hall and Diaz, and then we're like, nah, we're different, we'll take care of it, we'll be fine. And if we need to, we'll take care of ourselves. We then catch a feed, and we see Taylor and Marietti. They're below inside, so instead of hopping back on the plane, we head inside. Hendrix is all freaking out. He keeps talking about how we got to get him, and we keep being like, no, we got to help Khalil out first. That's the most important thing. We got to like secure the area, not just like rush in all crazy like. Eventually we track him down. We get flooded out in a room. We're like, oh, that's fine. But then Corvus shuts down our oxygen. And so we pass out. So we kind of wake up. Kane's resuscitating us. She's asking. So we ask about like the fuck, how do you shut down my biosystem? There's nothing to do with the DNI. And she's like, I don't know, maybe it's because the Corvus was born in like organic material, and so like once it got into the DNI, it's able to like push out to like the biosystems or some shit like that. Like it's gotten used to the DNI and how everything works, and it's like, god damn. And that she's like, hey, you guys are like super corrupted. You got like days, maybe hours to live, maybe. They have like a little romantic scene talking. She's like, no, we'll be okay. We'll take care of it. If we need to, we can run away. We can be safe. Oh, that's adorable. Anyway, back to killing. Khalil calls us something about something is jamming up ahead. Then there's an explosion. We kill. We run back to the jet with Kane. Get more plane goodness, kill planes. Khalil needs support. We go and support his guys, kill a bunch of stuff, some more ESPs, whatnot. Khalil finally gets down to where Taylor and Marietti are, and then they use some sort of like future magic to like look in on Taylor and Marietti. Taylor and Marietti split up. Marietti heads towards the hangar. Taylor heads the other direction. We start getting on Khalil like, hey man, isn't this place like, doesn't have all these like secure things? Can't you just secure the whole fucking thing? And Khalil's like, oh yeah, we can. So they do. So Marietti gets trapped in the hangar. At that point, we head over with Hendrix. We leap over to like the hangar area. Kane blasts the fucking door open. It's just a super epic scene. This game's so fucking good. We push forward. We kill. Marietti keeps escaping. Corvus keeps acting up on our optics. We start to argue with Hendrix. He's like, you're too sweet on Kane. You can't trust her. And we're like, dude, we're being manipulated by Corvos. And then we both are about to fight. But then Hendrix sees a laser sight on us and tackles us out of the way. And hey, it's a mia paisano Marietti. So then we get a kind of cool sniper levels so that we can like we kill dudes. We're trying to like Hendrix is causing a distraction. We kill some more robots and shit, and we sneak up and finally, it's actually pretty fucking good. But we finally get our ass up there, and we slap Marietti and say, "Hey, cut the fuck out!" And then he tries to fight with us. So we fight with him. We bash him through this window, and he falls onto like a tree. But the tree is actually just a big like a big thing that stabs you in the chest, like the helicopter pilot earlier. Hendrix gets all mad. He's like, is this what we're doing? Is this how we're going to be? We're just going to kill these guys like animals? And then we start arguing about that, about Taylor's team, about Kane. And then we're like, that's it, Hendrix, you're losing it. And we punch him to the ground. And then we're like, the only reason you're not in Egyptian jail right now is because no one's coming to help. We didn't reach out our hand. And we're like, you're all I got. And you're my friend. And Hendrix is like, oh, shucks. So he takes our hand. And I laugh, but this scene was fucking excellent. Perfect writing. Chef's kiss. Absolutely. An explosion shakes up this like revelry we're having, and the whole place is, we find out from Kane, the whole place is being like bombed back to the Stone Age. We run, kill. A bunch of Egyptian military guys get killed, but we're able to get through the aquifer and hop onto our F-85s and get out of there before the whole thing like fucking blows up. Later in the safe house, we talk to Kane about Taylor, about our corruption, about fixing it, and about how Hendrix is like totally losing it. We see an image of Taylor And then Hendrix is talking about how he cut a deal with the NRC and is at their main base, the Lotus Tower. And we also find out that this like NRC thing is more than just like, they're like completely in control of Cairo. That their general, this I think his name's Hakim, that they have, and they have the Cairo completely under lock. And it's like, all right, you know how we fix this problem? Revolution. Remember, there was a revolution mentioned before. Okay, so so we're gonna go get that fucking started, and then we're gonna get Taylor. And then we're going to get Corvus over their head. High fives, all like white guy high five. So we pretend that we have captured Khalil and we're heading him over to the NRC, and they bust in, and then we start beating the shit out of them, and then we kill them all. Huzzah. So we talk about we got to go kill Hakim, and we got to make it look great. And so the revolution will get started, and then we got to destroy the dead system so we can get, what is it, air superiority or whatever, and all right, let's do this. So we kill our way up to General Hakim. We like sneak in behind him, and then we go smash his face against this like glass that everyone's looking at, and then we hold him up like a trophy. The NRC starts freaking out and like blowing away stuff, and we toss Hakim down into him. We start killing our way out of there. The revolution begins. All the Egyptian guys start fighting out, and then all this crazy bullshit happens. We start seeing a lot of crows or ravens or whatever, and then we keep pushing. We kill, and then at some point Khalil's like, all right, you guys, I gotta go lead my people. And we're like, high five, Khalil, we'll catch you later when we rescue from that prison in the previous level. Hendrix starts getting real antsy. We get to like another console. Every time we interface with the console, we keep seeing snow, frozen forest, trees, all that bullshit. Hendrix starts yelling at Kane for like absolute no reason, and at some point I'm like, are you just jealous? Are you mad that I'm gonna fuck this chick? Ew. Gross. To be fair, Hendrix is a lot more handsome than Kane is beautiful, so I guess it's an even trade. Kane then reveals to us that Taylor's up on the 90th floor. We see more crows, more frozen imagery. We get jumped by robots. We kill. Finally, the dead system goes down. Kane helps with that. And then Khalil calls an air support, and it's like, oh, hoorah! Right, Reznov? Great times. This level's pretty fucking good, I'm not going to lie. All these levels are pretty long, but they're pretty good. They have a lot of fun stuff. It's like action-packed. Excuse me. Okay. And honestly, like I'm watching my gameplay that I recorded, and I'm like talking about this game, and I'm like, God, this game is awesome. I definitely play it again. All the Black Ops games are worth multiple playthroughs, I gotta say. They're all fun. Keep the action going. They're super great. So anyway, kill. We're talking about how the Egyptians are going to take back their land, how they got hope, and how they're so strong, and Hendrix keeps him in a sourpuss. Someone else is just going to take over and make him sad again. And we're like, all right, motherfucker. So finally we get to Taylor's room. We burst in, and he's just standing there. Some robots come in. We're about to fight them, but they drop their weapons because he's taking control of them. Hendrix reaches out to Taylor, and he's like, hey, man, it's your friend. Hey, John, you doing okay? And Taylor's like, Hendrix, is that you? And then he starts talking about keeping us safe and how we need to go away, and that Hendrix is like, what's in the frozen forest? And then Taylor starts wandering off, and the robot's all self-destruct. We follow Taylor. He keeps talking about the frozen forest. Eventually, Kane recognizes that he's headed to like another building over a sky bridge. And then the comms come in from Khalil. He's in a lot of trouble. He's surrounded, and then his comms go down. And it's like, we have to help him. And there's also a giant sandstorm coming, like from Dune, like a giant sandstorm. It's going to fuck everybody up. And then Kane's like, I'll monitor Khalil, and then we can pursue him later. But we got to get Taylor now. Then our DNI just completely acts up, and we cut out to black. We get this whole like LSD acid trip thing going on with like crows and shit. And then King keeps trying to talk to us. She keeps telling us not to give in, to fight back, all this stuff. And then she mentions that Taylor's corruption is bleeding into us and Hendrix as he's like continuing to lose his brain. At that point, we wake up. Hendrix leads us to Taylor. Taylor keeps going up to the roof. We start bickering again about what Taylor did, about his justification. And finally we get to the roof with just us. And Taylor's there, and we're like, hey, man, you gotta stop this shit. And then a mothership shows up. And the mothership's like one of these giant... This thing's fucking huge. It's like fire and stuff and drones and shit. And you bet, boys. Here we go. It's another another classic fucking insane level in this game. And it gets even better because Kane, she's like, oh, I'm going to send up some mobile armories or whatever in this like random fucking building. And it's full of miniguns. Baller as shit. So we blow the shit out of this mothership. And then we start arguing with Taylor again. He's all esoteric and stuff. We keep telling him this is not who he is. He calls us young blood. And then finally we destroy the mothership and it comes crashing down. We try to get out of the way, but our arm gets impaled. Like the cybernetic arm gets impaled and we're stuck. So then Taylor like moseys his way over, pulls out a knife. We try to talk him down. We try to like get him to wake the fuck up. And he's like, I can fight it. And then he like stabs himself in the fucking neck and tears out the D9. And he's laying there like bleeding out. He's like, I feel great. and he's alive, but he's severely wounded. But hey, he's back. And they're like, oh, Taylor, you did it. We did it, buddy. We can fix this. And then Hendrix rolls up and fucking executes Taylor. And then he summons like another mothership, because I guess there's just a bunch of them lying around. And then he's like, he tells us to imagine ourselves in the frozen forest, and then nopes out. It's like, the fuck? Fuck you, Hendrix. We tell Tane that she's got to come help, that we got to get back in the fight, and then we fade to black. We wake up, we're in the hospital. Kane is with us. She's like, I can't. She says that she can't be with us if we continue. We tell her it's the only way. She says it's going to change us. We say we have to do it. And then she's like, your old life's going to fade away. And we're like, this is who I am. And she begs us not to forget her, and also not to forget the person that we are, that we were. At that point, we go back into the safe house. We just get Corvus's like full monologue about the frozen forest, and then cut out of that, we find out that Hendrix is headed to Zurich. We arrive with Kane, and we speak to a Zurich security forces guy. Like, everything's going to shit. Hendrix is taking everything over to DNI. All the robots, all like cars are falling out of the sky, because I guess they're flying cars, and all this stuff. Kane checks in with us, and we're like, yeah, we're still here, Kane, or Rachel, or whatever her name is. And then she's like, and then we're like, why are you here? He said we couldn't be together anymore. And she's like, we never left her behind, so she won't leave us. She won't leave us either. Oh, that's going to be a very unfortunate mistake on her part, coming up very shortly. Anyway, so we kill our way forward. It's all robots. The Zurich forces are trying to help us out. A bunch of them are getting killed by like buses and shit. Hendrix is controlling all the robots and all the drones and stuff, which is making him go insane. We continue to see weird shit. We continue to fight our way through. And then we talk about finding another way to survive besides using suicide. Eventually we get to this huge plaza. There's a bunch of ASPs. We got to kill like 3 or 4 of them. And we find out that Hendrix is trying to get to Kruger. So once we kill all these fucking ACP, it took forever. I hate this. I hated this part of the game. I didn't hate it. It was just like really annoying, because it's like ding 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 rocket, ding 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 rocket, ding 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 rocket, ding ding ding. I think it's just 3 rockets, and then repeat. And I was like, oh my god, there's another one of these. One's like coming climbing over buildings and shit. It was awful. And then again, like with the Covalescence building in Singapore, we're like, hey, this isn't a research facility for CNI. This is a weapons manufacturing facility. And then we get to like an area, and there's a whole bunch of like containers of gas, and it's fucking Nova 6. And then she's like, yep, that's what killed all the people in Singapore. That's just a trace amount. When it hit that explosion level, it killed all those people. And we're like, fuck. And she's like, you need to interface with the system, make sure it's okay. So we get in there, we read. It seems like it's all critical. Everything's going to leak out. The whole thing's going to explode. And so Kane rushes in containment center to like manually shut down the Nova 6. And like, I don't know why even manual shutdown inside where the gas is at, but sure, it's a Black Ops game. It's pretty funny. And also, because it's a Black Ops game, you know for a fact that this is dun 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 a trap by Corvus. Because all that shit we saw, we didn't see it. It's the DNI fucking with us. So Kane dies. Oh, what you gonna do? Anyway, fucking Corvus. So we kill some more. We find Hendrix harassing a nice young man. Actually, it's Kruger, of course. He's being super dodgy. Hendrix interfaces with him, which, you know, causes him to go brain dead. And then we rock up and just like execute Hendrix. And it's like, suck a bitch. What an idiot. Now we're the only ones left. We're corrupted by Corvus, so it's time to take us out. So we put the gun to our mouth and bang. But nope. Now, and I gotta say, it was baller as shit. I was like, holy shit, we're totally gonna kill ourselves in this game. Like, so clap. Again, for Treyarch being able to write crazy shit and make it look good and just be like excellent all around. But nope, the screen goes white. And then we see Hendrix walking up, and he's like, no, man, what are you doing? Corvus just wants to help us out. We're going to live forever. And then Corvus physically manifests itself, and they're like, nah, shenanigans. They disappear. We kill. And then we get to Corvus, who's like talking to Kruger. He's talking about like having like future police, like in, what was that Tom Cruise movie? Minority Report. And how they got to use AI to like keep everybody safe, and how societies they don't just fall in, they're like created, and that yada yada yada. And then Corvus like straps him to a tree and kills him. And then Hendrix wanders up, and we're like, we gotta keep going. And Hendrix is like, I can't go with you any further. And then he like fades out, like that meme with the guy, the big black guy. And as he's going, we're like, we lost you a long time ago. And then we yell at Corvus, like, where the fuck are we? And he's like, the frozen forest. This is a place where we can live beyond death. Oh no, he kills him a little bit later. Anyway, so Taylor finally shows up, and he's like, hey buddy. Because Kruger's like, because Corvus is yelling at Kruger about like, what am I? And he's like, you're a glitch, you're a mistake. We were trying to build this AI to like help, and then you gain like more sentience than we like wanted to allow. It's like, oh, be careful AI, I guess, in the 2070s. And then he's like, hey buddy, I rejected the DNI, so I'm kind of like a glitch inside a glitch. And we're like, sure, why the fuck not? Let's do it. we then head through 3 different levels. So now we got kind of like this fun Black Ops thing at the end of these games where they just have this like, crazy shit going on. So there's 3 different portals. We're going to go through them in order, and each one we see a little bit more of a cutscene that kind of like explains a little bit more about Corvus' side of things that are going on. So the first one we hear like, and Taylor comes with us, and it's Call of Duty, so we like fight through these levels. We kill a bunch of like manifestations and whatnot. So first it's Marietti. And then we get to the end of each one of these levels, and there's going to be like a Corvus heart and a little cutscene. So in the cutscene, we see the research center. Corvus is being born inside all these people. All he does is feel pain. Blah blah blah. Head back out. Go next portal. It's Diaz. Same story. He's starting to figure it out. Corvus is not smart. He's acting like an animal. He just want to like reproduce and grow. He doesn't have like a grand plan or any grand schemes. He's not well trained. He doesn't have all the years of like ChatGPT or DeepSeek or whatever. And so then we see Corvus's viewpoint about when he infected Taylor and Hall, and he's like, I have to find the frozen forest, blah blah blah. And the last step is Hall. Taylor talks about heading to the main server room at Coalescence. They got an override. So after we get through this, like we get ourselves back, we can go purge the DNI of Corvus and everything else, and kick him out. And so then at the end of this level, we get the cutscene with Marietti and Diaz. They're interrogating Salim. And then we see Corvus manifestation of Taylor. He's losing it. He's like, "Who are we? Blah 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 blah. Who are you?" And then we pop back into Zurich. And then Corvus is like questioning why we fight. And then he like tries to come at us in like some sort of like crazy thing. And then we push forward, hit that DNI interface thing, plug it in, activate the purge, and then everything like resets. Everything goes black, and there's like the vision and the sound, and like Corvus and Taylor disappear, and we're like stumbling around. And as we stumble around, we see like a purge countdown or whatever, and it's like we're just trying to move, and then we start hearing Taylor's voice, and he's like, listen to the sound of my voice, and all, the whole bullshit. So we're stumbling out of the facility, the whole thing's resetting. We go from like black and white to color, continue hearing Taylor's voice, and finally we get outside, and there's a security forces guy, and he's like, who? Soldier, what's your name? And then Taylor finishes the frozen forest thing, and the guy like asks us again, and right around there the thing counts down 3 2 1, purge is complete, and we're like, we're Taylor, and then the game ends. Dun dun dun. That's right. You confused yet? Oh man. So there's lots of theories about this game, about the ending of this game, and nothing's confirmed. There's no game that takes place in the future or whatnot. So I'm just going to talk about some of the theories. My personal belief in the theory. Well, so first of all, if you look at the titles for each one of the levels, they say we are Taylor, right? And so the implication is heavily implied that the whole time we're playing this game, we're actually Taylor. Outside of maybe like the first level, like I think it's called Black Ops, whatever the first level is. And then to reinforce that, there's these scrawls of like data that goes by really fast. But if you slow it down, or you just get on like the fandom.com and you can read them all, they talk about a guy named Stone, and how Stone was a rogue agent for the CIA, and that he was trying to unveil like information to like the world about the Winslow Accords and stuff. And then so with that information, the information that we are Taylor, and then we call ourselves Taylor at the end, and everything else that's kind of occurred, and then you can kind of see like the timeline where it's like with Kane and like what occurred here and what occurred there. And like the biggest controversy I saw online with people was like, in what order did the levels take place in? And it's mostly about where does the last level fall into place. Anyway, so in reality, this whole time that we think we're playing like us, we're playing Taylor, right? Except in maybe that one level that takes place outside of like kind of the story, which is the first level where the guy gets completely destroyed, and then him and Hendrix like get the DNI, and then go through the tutorial and stuff. And the idea is that our minds are being corrupted like this whole time by the DNI or whatever, and that as we're playing through Taylor, this whole thing, through the whole timeline, it's like we're actually Taylor. And then that hospital scene at the end with Kane, that is where we're there. So that gets confusing, and some people were talking about how like that in that scene, essentially we merge with Taylor's like DNI, because we're too corrupted, and so then we can like merge into like Taylor, and so then we become Taylor, and then when the purge happens, it purges everything that's not Taylor, because we're like in Taylor's body. There's some wacky theories out there. And then the idea is that like the first level is actually, so some people believe that the first level takes place after. So the whole thing with Taylor is that Taylor's now leading a team that so that first level we actually play ourselves, and then we get killed, and then we go through that in the tutorial. But before that, but everything else takes place like before that. So those are actually like the last 2 levels, chronologically speaking. And then some people believe life happens before that, those 2 levels, and some people believe life is the last level, takes place after that level, right? So there you go. Something to think about. But yeah, it's super interesting. And I love the way they kind of weave all this stuff in, and the confusion and stuff, and the frozen forest. And the frozen forest the whole time, like, we find out pretty early, it's just like some old bullshit some psychologists just came up to like help people like calm down when they're being like, they have all these like techno stuff and like adapting to being cyborgs and stuff. But then they keep wanting to find it. And then that frozen forest ends up being this like weird like thing where like all the collective consciousnesses that share with Corvus become like one. And there's like a hive mind. The whole thing. It's like so fucking wacky and Black Opsy, and it's great. And I really enjoyed it, and it's a great like chronological end to this series. It doesn't really fit. Again, the Nova 6 thing is kind of like wackadoo. Like, it comes up and then it comes up again, and it's like, why? Like, then none of this came up. And granted, this came out after Black Ops 2, right? So it's pulling from there. Meanwhile, you have Cold War and Black Ops 6, which got like inserted into the timeline between like Black Ops 2 past like the 70s, and then the future part, like 2025. And so we'll see where that goes. And then you have the Modern Warfare games, which are complete garbage, but they kind of situate in there too, and they're like loosely associated, right? So maybe they'll tie that in more. There's another game coming out this year. I don't know anything about it. So that's the end of like the Black Ops chronological playthrough. I hope you enjoyed your journey with me. I had a good time talking about it and reliving all these games, and I look forward to see what comes out this year. Hopefully they slap it right down on Game Pass so I can play it on my Xbox that has a joint account with my friend, and hopefully they allow it to be played on Xbox One, because I'm not buying another fucking Xbox. So that I just gotta like, I don't know, that might be the end of that for me. I just have to watch a video and talk about it. Anyway, really good. I'm superbly enjoyed this game. Again, all the Black Ops games, including World at War, fantastic. World War II is pretty good too. So highly recommend like checking them all out, having a good time with their single player. Again, if you have if you have Game Pass, you get most of them for free. The Call of Duty games play like shit on there, but everything else plays pretty good. So yeah, thanks for coming along, and go ahead and like, share, subscribe, comment, and I will catch you guys later.